Egg. 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 Egg.
woman pretending to be one.
Wow, wow, wow. There I am. Hello.
Halloween!
Hi.
I totally forgot to put on your fucking PNGs. I'm so sorry
What the
forever.
fuck is my fucking PNG?
Where's my
died.
face?
I'm sorry.
Where's my face?
Am I?
I'm sorry, everyone. I failed you.
I'm invisible.
I can't find my
I used
face.
Sonic OC.
This is me.
Battery.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh my
dead.
god. Why you? Yeah. Can you move?
No.
You're kind
hard.
of. You're kind of in the way.
I'm gonna be honest. This existence is hard.
Hello. I'm off.
Yeah,
Ow. Ow.
that is just your PNG. You just are like
It
that.
hurts. It hurts so much.
Well,
Yeah,
fix your
you-
fix your PNG then.
No, can you just move me down so it look? Yeah.
Well, you're still in pain. There's just whole line of pixels cutting you in half.
No, I'm a-okay now.
By the way, I don't know how to fix my PNG.
Okay, give me a
You
moment.
use the
I-
link key and put
Where's
a new
the
thingy in.
Where's the link?
I'm giving it. Hold on.
Hell yeah. Hey chat,
go.
how y'all doing today?
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I hope you're all doing well.
Yeah.
I will give Derek a Sherlock head right now before I forget.
Hell yeah.
Fucking need to get rid of this fucking PNG.
Fucking Sonic OC. So
It's good. It's good.
I in fact have a Sherlock head Ow! I have a Sherlock head saved, so it all works
Ooh,
out.
would you look at that?
There we go. He's gonna
Hey,
help us solve
that's
some
great.
fucking mysteries.
What's this? What's this like? What's this line of
did
pixels
it work?
right in front of my face?
That's what I was talking
Oh,
about.
that's
the line of
you.
pixels. Yeah, that's part of my fucking.
Ow.
Also,
Yeah.
I applied it. It didn't do anything.
Did you actually
me
save the new
I
images?
guess hold on. I did, but hold on. Let me retry.
Hey, you're normal now. You're normal.
There you go.
There we go.
Two
You're
sets
so
next time.
normal.
Turn start to mix, which is normal.
Just normal.
Just normal.
What you mean normal men?
Man.
Hi, any. Whew, that was a start.
Yeah,
look, you're
that's
here.
good.
You're here
I-
as well.
I'm here. Hi.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Can't believe you're here too. How crazy. How
We're
wacky.
all
How
here.
wild. Wow.
But I'm gonna move
We
you guys
are.
just up just a little bit, actually.
Beep.
Come on.
Beep boop.
Beep boop.
Ah,
Beep
fuck.
beep beep bop.
Christ.
Ba-da-ba-ba-doo.
I like how just the way
What?
you're canonically the longest thing ever, and here you're just not.
I'm hiding. I'm hiding behind
I-
a thing.
I can make you longer than this because then you get cut off again.
Not just,
Yeah.
you're just stretched.
No,
just,
like,
just,
I could put like the full thing in there, but you would have to like zoom in so much. I would be pixelated.
I would just no. I mean, would you?
just image resize, honestly. Is what
I can
think
change.
myself.
I can change the resolution on this browser source. You know,
Yeah,
to just whatever
wait,
the
you
image
can.
is. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. I mean, I don't know how long it allows us to be.
I don't know.
It's
guess we'd have to find out.
for this Sunday because I'm not gonna do that right now.
That is fair.
Okay. Discord is I think it's Discord because it seems to sound fine on stream, but both of you are crackling for me.
Yeah, Zoe's
yeah.
crackling for me too.
It's fine on stream, but that is just something Discord does sometimes because Discord is cringe.
Right.
You know, instead of doing good updates, they're like, great, now you have Nitro. You can add an animation on your profile pop-up. What the fuck is the point of this?
The stupidest thing was like today they were like, yo, if you get Discord Nitro, you can change the Discord icon.
Right?
Fucking
What's-
whatever, dude.
Why would I? And I'll not recognize it and then get confused.
Right? Yes, I'll just get confused. Discord
What?
is so fucking
Like-
cringe.
Like, why are you adding all these options instead of improving anything? The best recent option they added, it just, I think still Nitro exclusive, is you can do clips of people streaming through Discord. I'm like, all right, that's a
that's
fun
cool.
addition. However, for some people it's not great because the clips can include people in the voice chat.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to be included in that, but you cannot opt out of it just yourself.
Yeah.
It's either everyone or no one.
Yep. So it's just all bad.
So it was like, great. Why?
But it only
Can you do
changes
it-
the icon in the app, not on your desktop. I guess it makes sense because you can just change it to anything you want on like the desktop icon anyway. Or
yeah.
desktop / just in
Not I mean.
just like on the
take-
taskbar, etc.
I mean, if changing the icon on desktop is just something you can do with any program, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's just something that you
Yeah.
can do, so it's even more useless. Anyway, hi everyone. It is Wednesday, and you know what that
It is.
means.
It's
It's time-
Wednesday, my dudes.
It's Wednesday, my dudes. That means it's time to get stuck in some rooms together, but not some homes.
It's time to escape.
Yes, it is time. Actually, it is not time to be stuck in some rooms together, but we're gonna be, and that's a problem. So that's why we're gonna escape from
Yay.
them. It feels like ages since we've seen Noodle. Yeah, we haven't had many opportunities to
Yeah.
collab for a while.
I'm here.
But they're back now, and they're gonna be here twice this week, even.
2 times this week.
So we're really making up.
So many times.
We're really making up for lost time here.
Really making up for the lost noodle.
Yes, yeah. It accidentally went down the drain when I was trying to rinse it, after cooking it.
Yeah.
Oh no, there they go down
Oh
the
my
drain.
God, I hate it.
Definitely.
I hate it
Wow,
when that
they've really gone
happens.
down the drain. I'm so sorry to tell you this, Noodle. You've really gone.
down the drain.
Sorry.
Anyway, Twitch redeems are broken for me again, so I can do an egg.
Are they?
Fuck, dude.
They are like broken for me 90% of the time. I just cannot do anything on Zoe's streams.
Yeah.
Let's see how broken they are for me.
Ow. I think they work.
They work.
Why is it always broken for me? It's so weird.
I don't know.
Just
It's not
doesn't
just
want
for
you.
you. I've heard it from other people in the audience that they can just never redeem stuff, which is stupid.
I'm glad programs function the way they're supposed to. Oh, the crackling is pretty bad.
Oh,
It's not that bad on my end.
Hold on, maybe I have to rejoin. Maybe that'll help.
maybe.
I'll
Well,
try,
you
hold on.
can't because then. Well, I mean, I'll just have to drag you back in. But
Yeah,
yeah,
just drag me back in. It's not that.
I'll just drag you back in here.
You
Just
can't.
gotta grab me. I'm gonna.
So anyway,
I'll be
started
right back.
grabbing.
Yeah.
So I started leaving.
Oh,
Funny man.
That didn't work at all. Well, anyway.
okay.
Yeah. the
on
only
a
thing
second,
I
I
can
have a
think
plan.
of. Oh.
What if
What
you
about
leave
this?
and rejoin?
Did that
What-
fix it?
Talk
Keep,
a
I
bit
don't
more.
know. Keep talking.
Hello.
No,
Wow, I
same-
sure am
same
talking
issue.
down.
No,
I think maybe if you like, if we switch like server location.
Well,
That's what I
I mean,
did.
also, I mean,
Oh dang.
maybe Zoe just has to leave.
Yeah.
Me?
Leave Zoe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Bye. No, it's not our
Hello.
stream now because we disappear when she
Yeah,
does.
you also disappear. Anyway, hi. Is this
I
better?
think it is better. I think I heard a single crackle, but it's less now.
It wasn't that bad for me to begin with.
I don't know what to tell you. There was like
Okay.
5 crackles in a word at one point.
Oh damn.
Anyway, before we start, I want to show you guys something very cool.
Ooh.
So hold on.
All right, I'm holding.
Okay, what do I need to hold on to?
I just anything. I think.
Everything.
Everything. All right, done.
You can do that. I
Check
can't. It's hard.
out check it out. I built a lighthouse mech.
Yeah, you build grapes.
I also built grapes. They're also grapes.
I fucking love it.
That's
Yeah,
fun.
it's cool, right? Yeah, it's got a stick on the back for like holding it from the stick.
Nice.
That's so good.
Thank
That
you.
is so
Thank
fucking
you.
good.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm very proud of my
What's
beautiful
its
creation.
name? Chat?
Please
Will
don't ask
help?
me such questions.
Suggestions?
Yeah, it's got a crab claw and a flamethrower.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the thing I built last night.
Nice.
I'm very proud of it. Its name is probably like,
Well.
Well, there goes the stream.
Yep.
The rest of the stream.
I have sabotaged the stream. She'll be busy for about 3 hours.
Well, I'll be playing some Bug Fables then. See you.
All right, I'm gonna play some Escape Simulator.
oh, that sounds fun. Can I join?
Oh yeah,
Oh
sure.
yeah, hell yeah, can I
Yay!
join?
Oh, cool. Let's go. Just in a moment, after I've done the eggs
What
and
a
other
segue.
redeems.
Is it a segue if it's looping back into the original conversation?
It is a
It's a Segway.
Sure.
Have you ever tried to ride a Segway? That thing is always like looping back to where you were, and it's never on purpose.
I've never tried it. Seems because I'm like I'll fuck it up somehow and hurt myself.
I mean, for sure. That's what
Thanks
it's
for the confidence.
No,
That's just what happens, you know.
Everything.
Listen,
Yeah,
you
no,
gotta
that's
suffer a
true.
little. You gotta suffer.
Yeah.
You have to suffer.
But
Also,
You
the stream
specifically.
the stream has been purple all month long. It's for Spooktober.
Yeah.
It's been that the whole time. Anyway, let's get some.
it's Orpal flavored.
Raw.
Scary here.
Yes. You have to
those were
suffer.
my
So you
Halloween
can suffer, so you can
sounds.
sus. Jeepers Purple's a real
Yeah.
spookster kind of color. Correct. Yes.
Ooh,
It is the spooksterest of colors. Is purple. Now,
sure is.
it is time to do the eggs. And the first egg of the day is Etrum Toa. Then we've got Kira Cat. Green Clunk. Esteemed Jester. Ow! Esteemed Jester. KQ Gray. Mike Loves Rabbit. Do Cumbercuke. Oh, it's like cucumber, I get it. The Melon Goddess. Ow. Space Junk. Hey, that was you.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah, space. Viridescent Fae. Rutsutera. Sequoir. Kiva Fox. Banshee Strikes. Finally someone gets in. You're welcome. Mecha VT. And a Kai Fuller. Bam, ba, bam, ba, bam, bam. Ah. Thank you very much, everyone, for the starting eggs of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Let's see, there was a Sonic sticker, at least one. Let me take a little look at that. There were two. A Tilsdale on Derek, you think? Sure. Here we go, on top of the Sherlock Holmes here. And I think it was also a Tilsdale on me, yes. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Dun, dun, dun,
Can't even claim the Punchy's bonus. It clicked, it's an error, and then my bonus disappeared. I'm like, great.
How weird.
Fucking.
Have you tried removing your cookies and stuff?
How do I remove them?
by eating them.
Yum, 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 yum.
And
No,
alright,
like go into your web browser settings, you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's right where you find history. If you click clear recent history, you can just select cookies and then delete them all, or however
Or
you
only
think
the
is
ones
necessary.
for Twitch.
Well, I've
We
just,
also all gotta take a sippy.
I will.
I've just decided to just raise it all. Let me. Maybe it works now. No, everything's still broken. Can't
Damn.
redeem anything.
Womp womp.
Can't claim anything.
Just gonna have to hope that I fix it at some point, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm also
Demo.
no, probably not. I also have to get cheesed. Oh, I've been cheesed.
Human cheese.
That's it for now.
I see a lot of people in the chat have seen the Jello Apocalypse video on Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it's a very good video. I love putting
It
that
is
one
very
on.
good. I like it a lot.
I just love having that
I have
video on
not
now and
seen
then.
it.
It's
I
a very good
recommend it.
video about like who is the best Scooby-Doo character and why is it Fred?
And
Okay.
and the Jello, the person in the video, just goes like, let me go through every version of every character and tell you which version of every character is the best version of them.
He also dressed up as the characters while he was talking about them. That is also true.
Fun.
It's just a
Super
really
fun.
good fun video. But you know what else is really good and fun, but not a video? Except
close good
later
friends.
when we put it on. What?
My close good friend.
Who's that?
You.
We're the friends.
Amazing. I don't know. They didn't specify, so I figured I'd ask.
Nah, I'm assuming.
Well, assuming Baxter the ass out of you.
And
Yeah.
me.
No, yeah, and I already said you.
You
Yeah,
were an
me.
ass for assuming I liked you.
Fucked up.
Fucked up. Scary.
Anyway.
Did you know everyone friendships are scary?
So are we okay? So this is a game that none of us have played before, in which you do escape rooms, but instead of doing them in real life, you do them in a video game, because it costs a lot of money to go to a real life escape room, and you actually need to like get together, and who has the time, you know?
Yeah.
So that's
They're
what we're gonna
fun.
do.
They are fun in real life. I've been in.
They're fun.
I would love
I've
to
been
go on
in
one.
I've been in 2.
I've been in, I think, yeah, 2 as well. Only managed to like get out of one of them, but that's because my sister cheesed it. She they had a number pad, and she just kind of like, we got real close to the end. She was like, I'm just gonna push in
It's
buttons.
gonna brute force it.
She's gonna
Oh my
brute
God.
Come
force it. She did.
Oh,
No, it was great. It was great. We got out like with 10 seconds left on the clock. It was lovely.
Oh,
We were
Okay,
so
I guess.
confused how we managed to
Okay.
get out.
fair enough. Like, I'd be disappointed if that's the first thing she tried.
Yes,
it
agreed.
wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
She's
no
not
gauntlets in this game,
sport like
sadly.
that. Yeah, no
alright.
gauntlets.
No
Only
gauntlets.
earrings.
By the way, I don't have the DLC, so if we need that.
Oh, I don't think so. I think it just comes with a spooky map, and we're gonna do that one, and
Ooh.
some modded ones that I've downloaded.
Ooh, I don't know, man. I don't know if I dare to play a spooky map. It sounds scary.
Well, too bad.
Will it have?
That, yeah,
Will it have skeletons?
maybe.
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna be
Will
in
it
it.
have?
Live, I'll be honest, and every map has skeletons if you enter them.
Ah,
Because there's a skeleton inside
that's
every
scary.
Well, no, but not. Yeah, even here, because we have like rigs, because we're digital
exactly.
entities like
Oh
myself.
my god.
In
so
in fact,
scary.
more creatures in games have skeletons than in real life.
Ah,
Because you need it for animation.
that's horrifying. What about
Noodle-
vampires?
Noodle,
Yeah,
Definitely.
did we ever add each other on Steam? Were you
Wait, hold on. Let
online?
Did
me.
you? No, that's
We did not. Let me fix that.
Shit, dude.
Shit. How do there here plus? Let me
two.
just. Oh,
I can give you, and I can send you like a code, and you enter the code and use the
it's
code.
too late now. I've sent you a request.
Fuck, you did. God damn it.
Yeah.
Hey, it's my friend. Yay.
I would like to request the Jello Apocalypse fans in chat to not reference the Skies of Arcadia playthrough too much, because me and
Oh,
Zoe
yeah.
are going to go through.
Yes.
Like,
not on stream, by the way. Just like by ourselves for fun. Maybe on
Just
stream.
by
We'll just say.
yourselves.
But yes, we are going to be playing that one.
A tutorial. Oh.
Oh, we're going to be doing a tutorial first, I guess.
Yes,
well, it's
that's
what you've
tutorial.
selected currently. That's what
That's
we're
just the
seeing.
yeah, that's just the first thing that appeared. Yeah. But where? Here, graveyard. That's so.
Santa's workshop.
This workshop.
So
No.
scary.
I don't know. Slavery is pretty scary.
They're not slaves.
I don't know.
okay,
Okay,
that's-
fine. Indentured servant.
They're elves.
That's nah. Don't agree
Okay,
with that.
let's go play the tutorial, everyone.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna speed run this.
No, we're
I'm just gonna,
we're going to
I'm
speed run this.
gonna ram myself into the door and break out.
Me too.
Oh god. Oh god. This
Welcome
is
to
a
Escape
very
Simulator.
cramped little space.
Your simulation will
Who's
just
Marty?
you can move around, fill in
Oh,
the
this
room.
camera is kind of slow.
It's a bit sluggish.
little bit, ooh.
Oh wait, I gotta keep walking.
Yo,
Alright.
we can do
hold on.
physics! Yay!
Hold on,
Gonna
hold
throw
on.
stuff on the
Fuck
floor.
yeah.
Hold on, I cannot handle how
Crunch.
slow this camera is.
I'm gonna
Press the red button. Okay.
I'm gonna turn off the motion smoothing as well if it's possible.
Oh yeah,
because
absolutely.
That is a
Grab the
nightmare.
golden key. I have it. Use the key on the lock.
Can I not?
I did.
Can I not change the mouse sensitivity?
First
It
grab and
doesn't
put him in
seem
inventory.
like it.
That's
no.
kind of not great.
That's kind of cringe.
Can you not do
kind
a
of-
dirty tutorial maybe?
No, just in general, it's not part of the options.
That's not great. But I am rocking this tutorial though.
I was looking at options, but this doing it now. Wow, I guess. Oh,
I'm stuck. I'm stuck in the tutorial. What do I do with these shapes?
eat them.
I don't know.
I tried.
I'm scared. Get 10 cubes.
Clearly, they all go into the square hole.
Yeah, we all know
I
this.
tried.
That's
All
right,
of
the
them.
square hole. Examine the toy box closely. Ooh. Ooh. Oh.
Oh wait.
What? Oh. Oh, okay.
All right.
This is neat.
Yeah.
2, 7, 4. Okay.
It's oh, this is dope.
This is very cool. I like this a lot.
This is good. I like this. Oh,
This is cool. My mouth is a square hole. Chomp.
Ah.
Hum, yum, yum, yum.
Nom.
Maybe
Okay, good.
maybe mouse options are only available from like the main menu.
Well, that's also kind of dumb. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh shit! Basketball.
Wait, yeah,
waiting,
why am I not playing basketball right now?
Basketball. Ah.
Whoop.
I'm
No,
waiting for
I've
the
got a
other
basket
play-
the ball.
Ah.
Damn it.
What? What? Did someone wait? Why'd you speed run it? I wasn't. I just got to the basketball. Hi.
Yee,
Don't
hello.
forget, hello.
How you doing, Zoe?
I'm hanging out
Hi.
with my two mustachioed fellows here.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Alright, huddle. Huddle.
Huddle, huddle. Okay.
Huddle.
Okay.
Wait,
we
what's
can
going
do it,
on?
y'all.
Okay, when you huddle, is your eye
Camera
level
just-
from
yeah,
some
just way
level
lower.
and everyone's
Yeah.
fucking chest height? Yeah. Okay.
This is like this is like if I had claustrophobia, I would not enjoy being in this room. I gotta say.
Wait, can you see what I'm holding?
Yeah, you're
Or
holding a marker.
Oh, you can see it. Oh, that looks so fucking dumb.
All right, let's see. We gotta figure out this puzzle, I guess.
Oh, I found a winding key.
R.
I found a winding key beneath the beneath the pillow.
Turn off the lights. Oh, awesome. Okay, let's
Nice.
see.
If you find
I found
anything,
it. Oh wait, give that to me. Give that to me.
I put
What
it
did
in the
you
garbage.
do?
Ooh, I need that. I need that. Can you give it to me?
Why did you give your item
What is
to
this
me?
thing?
No,
Oh,
give it
I
to
found a token.
Okay, how do I give it?
Just drop it on the ground or something.
Here.
Yeah, thank you.
Why is this
You're
room so
welcome.
fucking small?
Now I
Let me look at this
can.
globe.
I got the key out of the
Fucking garbage.
car.
Nice job.
Yeah, look, I've got the key.
Use it.
Wow!
Yay!
That was
Yay!
it.
Yahoo! We did it!
Man.
Just get out
Yay!
of just so in front of my camera. You have a little fucking car hovering on your belt.
What?
Yeah, you do.
I don't see
you?
it.
You know, you can't see. Can
Oh
you
yeah, I can see. Yeah.
No, I can't see it.
Oh, we're
It's a
moving
little,
in.
anyway, how do we go to the next one?
I just clicked and I can move around now.
Oh, you can click and do things.
We
Wow.
were just doing a little jiggle.
Oh, wait, episode finished. Hold on.
Yay.
Episode finished.
Episode finished. Awesome. Episode
God damn it,
finished. We're so good at this.
Oh.
How do I get
Yeah. Exit the
Why
menu in
did
the
you-
bottom right.
Why does your collar choke you whenever you like clap your hands?
Yeah, it does so. You get destroyed by your collar.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
just,
can see
like,
that.
Snaps it, it rips open.
Yeah, it looks very bad.
Episode finished.
Episode finished.
I fucking
Episode
love this.
Episode finished.
Little
Episode finished. Episode finished.
That's it. I'm leaving out of the window.
Episode finished.
I'm a token, y'all.
Nice.
Oh yeah, right. You can find tokens anywhere.
I'm glad Gauntlet Queen doesn't have claustrophobia, otherwise trapping her in
found
Meme
another
Maker would be
token, y'all.
cool.
Well, why are you finding these tokens?
Hidden away.
Where?
Just
I
hit it
found
away, I
one.
guess.
I found him in a little box. I found,
found another one.
on the little dragon man.
Nice
On
job.
a block.
I
That
found a
was a
bomb.
dinosaur, actually.
What is this?
Sorry.
I have a pyramid toy.
But I think we should go to the next map.
No, I'm enjoying myself. Can we just stay?
Episode finished.
Episode
Okay. Let's get scary now.
Hold on. No, hold on.
No.
Zoe, I'm going to test if I can change mouse settings in the main menu.
Oh, right.
You'll have
Okay,
to
yeah.
drag me back in.
Good. Yeah.
Let me. You don't need to leave. I'll just check.
Actually,
I did.
There we go.
Well, never mind then.
Yeah, it's not an option in it.
Damn, that's annoying.
That
Yeah.
after a bunch of updates and they didn't never added that. All right. Well,
I'm changing
I can
FOV
get
to
used
90
to-
though.
There's streamer mode.
Ah,
which I will
maximum
turn on
FOV.
now.
Where
No,
is
I
streamer
won't.
mode?
I have doubled my
It's
FOV.
right there. You just scroll over. It's in advanced.
What the fuck is
Maximum.
advanced? That's not a thing.
It's one of the titles. There.
Hold
I
on.
know.
Mode.
What does 140 FOV look like?
Wait, controls. There we go.
You
In the
want
bottom right.
to
In the
really?
bottom right, there's
Oh,
controls.
bottom right. Oh,
There we
mouse
go.
sensitivity.
Controls. Alright, mouse smoothing off. Please.
Mouse sensitivity. There we go.
There we go.
That might have even been available in game. I just didn't notice. it was a
yeah,
controls button.
probably. Would make
well.
sense.
Oh, good then.
Oh my god, I just got invited.
What? Who?
Oh my god, I just got invited.
Who the fuck's stealing my friends?
Oh my god, it's you.
No.
Oh my god.
Oh no, it's scary noises.
No, they're just transco noises.
Going full
I've been told that that people like my noises the most, so I should stop talking and just only make noises.
Well, hey, go right ahead.
For the start, thank you very much for starting your second X tech. Wear cat appearance. Alright, let's go to the graveyard, gang. Let's get spooked.
The graveyard.
The graveyard.
The
You
graveyard.
guys want to go graveyard robbing?
I'm gonna go graveyarding.
Let's go
graveyarding.
Let's go. All right, everybody, be really scared of everything from now on.
All right, I can do that.
Okay.
Be really
I have maximum. I
serious.
have maximum FOV, so I can see all the scariness at once.
Oh, nice. Woo! Why are you a ghost?
Am I?
Yeah, you're a ghost.
I turned on the
ghost
like
mode.
location specific things. So apparently it made me. I killed me.
Well, anyway,
Oh.
I can tell you, you shouldn't do maximum FOV. It's quite terrible.
Oh god. Okay, gang,
Awesome.
I found a spell book. Let me see what's
No.
inside there.
Hey,
Tell us.
bad news. There are no controls options in game.
Oh
Yeah, I didn't think so.
no.
All right, let's. Okay,
Okay.
wait. Okay.
So-
All right, you go first.
Yeah, let me tell you what I found in the spell book. There's some elemental spells. One for rain, one for stop rain, young moon, full moon, create fog, and clear fog. That one might be very useful. One issue: each spell has like a little glyph next to it. The clear fog one is blurred away. That one is not visible,
That would be
Damn.
nice.
and
The
that
clear
looks
fog.
like the one we're gonna need. Are you
Fuck.
like wiggling the thing in front of my?
Can you see what I found?
Yes.
In my
You
mind,
have
my
a
eyes
jack-o'-lantern.
Wow.
Yay! Awesome.
Oh, there's something on it actually. There's a cracked bone drawn on it.
Oh yes, that must be
Oh,
one
wait,
of the
what?
cliffs.
You can
my.
check that while I'm holding it. That's fun.
I can, yeah.
Oh,
Like I'm just like looking away around together with you. I have
This,
a
yeah, what did you
potion
find?
glyph, I think.
oh, I can look at what you're looking at. If you click
Yes.
on the so this
Okay,
one
this-
here says 761.
Yeah,
Can you
let's
turn it
find.
to that?
Let's see. Oh, whoops. Okay, I have to go all the way around. 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'll just pop
7,
this guy over here.
2,
I have a bone.
3,
I have a
Wait, I
cracked
can't see it.
bone.
4.
I found another jack. I found a sad
got it?
jack.
Did that do anything? I don't think that did anything. So I think
don't-
761 is for a different
wait.
one.
No, keep that up because this one also has it. Maybe we need to do multiple.
Oh, maybe we
a
need to do all of them.
newspaper
Yeah.
page.
This one already
Let me
has 2
read
of
this
them
out for you.
completed.
So there's a newspaper page here with a little article. Strange, unexplainable sightings at the cemetery. Last Tuesday, around midnight, a group of teenagers was spooked by ghostly figures lurking around the cemetery. The teens were up to mischief themselves when they heard a loud noise coming from one of the tombs. They paid no mind to the horrible sound. They concluded it had to be the sound of thunder as the dark clouds covered the night sky. Suddenly, the candles lit up and a thick fog appeared. Realizing they were all alone, or even a worse possibility, not alone, made so your cursor is in front of it.
Oh, sorry.
Made the hair in the back of their necks stand up. Strange shadows started to dance around them. Frightened, the teens ran to the police okay, so there's nothing here.
Well, we get some context. Just Spooky
We
Yuki
got some
story, like.
context.
I found a button here on the side of this thing.
Oh,
Oh,
well, I
nice.
just
Pressing.
pressed it.
Token found.
Oh,
Oh, it was just
Oh,
token.
this is not a button.
Also,
Okay.
There was another thing
what the
right
hell is
here,
this?
like a little glyph thingy.
Yeah,
who
that was
picked
the potion
up?
thing that I picked up.
Oh,
I-
well, what is it? Can you show it?
It's a potion. I already showed it.
Oh, I found a bat.
I didn't see it.
I found a bat.
Let's see. Oh, it's a slab with a potion on it.
I found
During
this.
slab.
Oh, another
Oh,
slab.
also, it is indicated as a. Okay, what's that one have?
It's a
Oh,
bat.
we moeten allemaal Nederlands praten.
oké.
Het is een vleermuis.
goed.
Oh, een vleermuis. Oké,
Oh,
ja,
ik druk op
oké.
deze knop en dan komt dat ding uit.
Oh, this is a hint
Oh.
button. Don't press the hint button.
Oh,
Oh,
ik
shit.
wist niet dat het een
Fuck.
hintbutton
I'm not looking at it. I'm not looking at it.
Dat was niet heel duidelijk dat het een hintbutton was.
Nee, niet
Well,
echt,
there's
hè?
a big question mark on it.
Het is nog steeds Nederlands.
Oh, sorry.
Nee, not anymore, not anymore.
Oh,
Okay, let's
well,
see. What
fuck.
is this stuff? Okay,
Oh,
we can.
I found,
oh,
I
okay,
found
wait.
something.
What did you find?
I found a lantern.
Me too.
And in it, well, I can open it up.
Oh, you can open them.
When I
Oh.
open it up, there's a little candle in it that I just took out.
Me too.
Yay!
Oh, nice. Can you do the same here?
If
Oh.
you have a lantern as well, then you might need to do that.
By the way,
Oh.
I found 3 different jack-o'-lanterns.
Do they all have different things on them?
Yeah, I do. One of them has a cracked bone. One of them has a witch's hat.
Token.
And
Nice.
one of them has a moon on it.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Okay, I'm doing
So
something
there's
crazy
definitely
here.
something written underneath the fog, but we need to remove the fog using the fog.
Well, you solved it. You
I got a
the wall.
magic wand.
I found it.
Oh, magic wand! Where did you get it?
I got it from this puzzle here.
Oh, nice. All right, so I think we might need. Yeah, we need the magic wand for the elemental spells. Let me give this book to you. Here, Zoe, I'll place it on this too. Make sure to pick up this book so you can.
I can't fucking see fuck.
Yeah, that is the point. We're supposed to use the magic wand to make the fog disappear.
I disagree.
But
Oh, these are some crazy glyphs.
yeah, so those glyphs, I'm pretty sure you need to input those over here where I'm standing, Zoe. But the one thing making fog disappear, that one ain't there.
Okay, let's see then.
Yeah, can you try one of the others? I haven't tried those yet.
I'll try. I'll try to rain one. Also, everybody in chat is talking about girl noises, and I agree with Bench Strikes. The prerequisites for girl noises are 1, being a girl, 2, doing noises. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
This game is very clever so far, yeah.
Are you good? Look.
I'm just going.
You sure
Okay.
are, pal.
Okay, how do I... Oh, okay, so...
You were doing a thing.
Was it like this?
Yes. And now it's
Oh,
raining.
It's
You
raining!
made it rain.
Yay!
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, and now do the anti-fog one.
Well,
Uh-oh.
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 I'll also have to do some eggies. Let's see. Vex
Oh.
Fidel
I found another
and
glyph thingy.
Ribbon Skull.
Oh, cool.
Thank you, Bob.
Let me see.
Card.
Egg.
There's a little thing missing.
yeah.
And Hal.
the
Hi,
card.
Hal.
Egg.
How you doing?
Hi, Hal. Oh,
And
this one too.
Diaga.
What's-
Thank you both
what's
as
the
well for the
broom?
eggs.
Yeah.
There's also a broom here.
Wait, there's a broom?
Shout out to
There's
Hal,
been here the whole
please.
time.
Shout out to Hal.
Oh, shout out to Hal.
Shout out to
Someone.
Hal.
Turns the night sky
There's
completely
also
grim.
there's a vase here, but
Okay, let's try that one.
Where?
here. There's not much about
Did you
it.
pick it up?
No, you can't pick it up. I think.
I picked it up.
Well,
was
my
it?
inventory might be full.
This. Did I do
I
it?
got a lot of,
Time's ticking down. We've got 22
Yeah, but it-
minutes.
Yup, I know. Was
Okay.
okay.
Oh!
Oh
Wait a
wait,
minute.
it's this one.
oh, there's a feather. I found
Is
a
it
feather
this?
stone on
Shit,
the ground
okay,
here.
hold on.
Nice.
Is a,
I think there might be a logic behind it.
what? How do you
me see.
fucking
Can
supposed to do that?
Can you give me the book?
No, I know what I'm
Oh, you
supposed
know
to do.
what
It's-
to do. Okay. You've got this.
Oh, I thought there's numbers on the side here. Can
No.
almost make out, but
How the fuck?
Yep, that's right. We need to remove the fog for
can
those.
kind of make it out. Well,
Is that not what I did? Okay, you can try.
May I?
I'm trying to do the young moon one. Place and
Well, I was thinking maybe just like looking at how the other things work. Yeah, so we just, by the looks of it, just need to make the create fog movement, but upside down.
ah.
Wait, let
okay.
me show you. So
I
stop
want to try
rain
the
is
I want
a
to try
V.
the moon one though. I want to see it be completely dark.
found a token.
Oh, I mean, you
But
can.
I can't figure out
Can
how
we
to do
move
that one.
the rain first?
Okay.
Huh? What are you doing?
Wait, maybe. Hold on.
Ah,
Oh, I did it.
you
Nice.
did it. Where is it?
They didn't do anything.
Oh, because there wasn't a full moon already.
Damn
Look,
it.
the moon is like already like this.
Okay, well, fine
May I?
enough. Hold on. One. I'll put it here.
Yes, thank you. All right. So, just looking at this book, what I need to do is kind of like, yeah, I think I got it. All right. So, just to double check.
Can you make a full moon so your friends turn into a werewolf
Wait,
and break
Zoe,
open the gate?
Can you do something for me?
Uh-huh.
Can you pick up this spell book and open it up so I can look at it on stream?
Okay.
Yeah, because I have a bad memory.
Ow.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. So first, let's get rid of this bloody rain with this.
Ow.
Abracadabra! Stop this bloody rain.
Ooh, a token.
You do it?
All right, and now it's time to remove the fog.
Ow.
So, oh, can you open it up again?
Yeah, I wanted to see what you did.
Thank you. Let's see.
Chat is being so rudesies to me.
Why are they being rudesies to you?
They're throwing everything.
Abracadabra! Away with this fog!
Great.
I am powerful!
Yay, we can see shit now. There's grass. How nice.
All right. So, yeah, I'd say put all of the numbers in the... Oh, wait, no, there's text below it. Okay.
Oh, there is.
Since birth he was angry, later life made him sad. In the end, he learned to be happy.
Oh, is
Okay,
that
so
the pumpkins?
that's definitely the
That's the
pumpkins. Yeah.
jack-o'-lanterns.
Okay.
All right, so the jack-o'-lanterns have.
Okay, so angry.
Wait,
anger
there's
is bone.
there's a tiny little symbol between them. Maybe no, I don't think that's anything.
Is that? Oh, okay.
No, the angry one is bone. The sad one is witch's hat, and the happy one is moon.
Okay, so we have to
Okay.
figure out what numbers they correspond to. The length of her life was foretold by an elder with many skinny hands, standing lonely on a hill. What the fuck does that mean?
Lived
Should we not
lived for the candy, died for the candy.
Do me too.
Oh, wait a minute. There's little flies underneath this. Tangled flies
Wait,
that
this opens up.
couldn't escape.
I found it open.
Foretold the year of his death. All right, the year of his death. I've got the tangled flies here. So,
Well, I guess whenever that happens, we cannot solve a puzzle.
Sorry.
Zoe,
Yes?
which number is can you look over there and look at the little flies underneath the
Yes.
wheels?
Uh-huh.
Which number has one fly?
I don't know.
Well,
That one.
like,
That is the one number that we
can you
cannot
turn
see.
Can you see the?
I think it's a
Can you turn the
6?
one with one fly to a 7?
No,
I
Yeah.
fucked up.
Two
on,
fly. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The one with 2 flies to a 5.
Uh-huh.
I think that's the one with 3 flies you just twisted.
okay.
Yes, I did. I was not
Yeah.
paying attention.
That one needs to be a 6.
Can these wheels not be
They work.
dragged? And
Ghost!
go.
Ghost with ghost! An opposing ghost!
Nice.
Hello.
Can these?
Hello, Dad.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Okay.
How are
Can
you
what-
doing?
are you guys talking to him?
No, I'm just talking to him.
Yeah, but what do you... What... Huh?
I just role playing.
Okay. I think...
Everything is fake.
Live for
What?
the candy, died by the. Well,
Bunch
I
of
don't know.
Oh, live for the
Symbols?
candy, died by the candy. Well, there's little symbols there, yeah. So we
Yeah.
need to find those symbols. My thought is, right here we've got these glyphs. The similar to the ones you're holding.
Uh-huh.
Do any of those like correlate somehow?
I've got a feather that might be with the raven.
Oh,
And I've got a
totally.
potion,
yeah,
which might be the
Put that over
cauldron.
at the raven. Yeah, there we go. Then we'll use
Car-
that bones.
Bones would. I don't have a bone. I have a bat.
Oh wait, no, you have the bone for the.
Okay,
for
the
Yeah,
bat
but
would be
I
the
have
coffin, because
I have
the...
cards for the
Vampires?
for the magic for the magic
vampires,
crystal
so...
ball.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
There we go.
Awesome.
Bones.
Oh, some
Candy.
berries to eat, some candy. Okay, so that's for the
I got a witch
candy.
hat.
And the bones.
Oh, there's something in the witch hat.
Oh,
Let's see. What
Aunt,
is it? 2?
Aunt Booga had number 2.
Okay, but I think the 2 is
Booga.
important.
I can't read that probably. It's so small.
Booga booga.
boogly boogly.
Oogly boogly. Hat number 2. Toogly.
Let's see, the candy... appears to have nothing. Although...
A bone board was forgotten.
Wait, hold on a second.
I grabbed it.
Hold on.
Where do I need to put the bone part?
Maybe the patterning on
That
the
didn't work.
candies. Yes, okay. The patterning on the candies corresponds.
Yes.
Okay,
This is right.
the patterning on the candy corresponds to these patterns underneath these numbers.
Okay.
So I
Can
will
you show me the candy?
count them and you will enter the things.
Of course. Yeah.
So the first
so
one also
diagonal lines.
diagonal lines would be the candy stick, of which there is one.
Just one. All
Yep.
right. Little
Also,
dots.
thank you very much. Little dots would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. Then the little helixes.
That's 2.
2. All right. And then swirlies.
3.
3. Might want to recount. I counted these together. I added these together.
Let me try.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'll have a
That
look over
definitely
it.
is
Oh,
one.
found a token.
Oh, there's a broken one. Right. Okay. So the swirly, like this.
You did it.
Ah.
All right. I'm
Alright.
down.
Hello.
Wait, I don't get
Okay.
the. I don't get the angry. I don't get the jack-o'-lantern one. It's just like.
Okay.
What number
let's
relates to
see.
being angry?
Since birth he was angry, later life made him sad. In the end, he learned to be happy. So
Oh,
angry,
okay.
sad, happy.
Okay. So I've got bones here. Ow. I've got bones here, and one of them has a number on it.
Oh wait, you got bones?
Yeah, they were in.
Here's like
They were in here.
another bit of bone. I don't know if you can combine them.
Oh yeah, give me.
It's right on the ground here.
I think if I maybe have. Wait, I lost one.
Standing lonely.
what
Do
the
you
hell? I
still
have-
have one, Luke?
What?
I lost one.
Do I have what?
Bone.
Do you have like a bone?
No, but I think I'm figuring out this puzzle. The length of her life was foretold by an elder with many skinny ants standing lonely on a hill. It's a tree. It has numbers in its branches. It does.
Oh, it should have.
Whoa,
Got a-
that
a
is very
3, an
cool.
Three,
3, an 8.
8, and is that a 4?
Maybe change the angle. No, maybe it's just 38. Maybe it's just 38.
The length.
So-
but that's oh wait, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so it's
the
just
length of a
799.
life.
The 799 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Wow.
Fucking big brain.
Nice.
Zoe,
It's like-
can you give me
This
the
is
book? I
so
want to make
fun
a
and
full
clever.
moon.
This is really
Oh
good.
yes,
Yeah.
please do. Oh.
This last one is fucking brack. Also, I have. By the way, I have more than just jack-o'-lanterns.
Okay, can I? Oh wait. Okay, this is
Here,
random
have
pumpkin.
another. And have another.
No, okay. They
I
are.
just-
Can I see the
Hold on, I just-
jack-o'-lanterns?
Now hold on, I'm picking up pumpkins. Yeah, so here. Bone.
Thank you. Okay, so that is a bone.
It's angry as bone. Sad witch's hat.
Okay, you have. Okay, you have
and
the witch's
moon.
hat,
And we have a broken bone.
and then the last one is the moon, the full moon.
Full
Full
moon!
moon. You
course.
got it.
But,
Oh my god, this is so
Full
fun.
moon.
okay, but...
Abracadabra. Oh,
84. Okay, all right. So
that is. That
So-
is. They fucked up
Oh,
the
wait,
moon.
I get
they
it.
fucked up the moon.
So you-
Awesome.
So you have a number on the bone. I get
know.
it now.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
so
it.
the angry one was.
The bone.
Okay, so the bone gives me 9.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so
So the first
So-
one's 9. Okay, then sad.
sad is witch's hat, which is
2.
2,
And then 84.
and then 84.
Ooh.
You can drag and spin these.
We've got 10 minutes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was wondering why you were doing that.
I didn't
you
know.
wouldn't- you
How would I have
wouldn't-
known?
I told you
Okay, we
before.
did it. I did not hear
Alright,
it.
alright, we've got all the ghosts.
Oh, this thing's
The door
opening.
hasn't unlocked
Oh, this is
yet.
opening.
Oh, wait. What we got? It's all
Four.
it's out?
Okay, well, I guess not me.
4
Oh, wait, can you
unnamed
step
lie
back a bit
beneath
so,
the ground.
Zoe, so I can look with you? Yeah,
I
thank you.
thought
4
I-
unnamed lie beneath the ground. Their demise holds the key to escaping forever being bound. The one that lived the longest life, the one that left first, and then their positioning.
Alright.
Okay, so
Maybe
then we
just
have to-
put that
okay,
somewhere
there-
so we can all look at
Yeah,
that. Maybe
yeah.
just
yes, right.
maybe just
I'll
see if you can
Put it
angle
on
that
like a
against-
ledge here.
Well,
Not up there. It's not gonna work.
Zoe? Zoe?
Don't-
okay, we'll put it here. We'll put it here.
Against the fence. Maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, fuck. Okay,
Oh, it's the what? There we go.
there we go. Okay, so let's do the positioned ones first because those are the easiest.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Wait, well, you do the position ones. I'm gonna take a
this
look at
one
who
is
died
this
first. So, let's see.
oh, oops. And then
Well, do they mean
Glasses.
first with the literal earliest
Yeah, who
possible
left
year, or who
first?
died youngest?
Who left first would be the one who
think it's a
died
flower?
first. So the
Flower here?
the youngest.
Isn't it this one then, with who died at who
lowest, yeah.
died at 799?
that's a flower, I
no,
think.
765.
We're having a real ghost party
Oh,
here,
right,
yeah.
right, you're right.
I'm-
That
I'm
one.
among my people.
That's hats. Yeah. Does he have a bow tie? He doesn't have a bow tie. A regular tie. Here we go.
This one.
The one on the right. Oh wait, yeah, the one all the way on the right is the one that lived
Earrings.
the longest life.
Earrings.
Egg.
Okay. Egg.
This one got
Hold on, let me just see if this is the right hat.
8.
All the crackling is getting bad.
Sorry, bud.
Oh, why did you ping?
What? Oh, I did not do it on purpose. I just
How
alt
do you even ping?
I don't know.
90.
Oh,
Tab,
there.
alt maybe, tab. Also, hi Jody, thank you very much for your egg. For some reason you were very EP. It's because you've been doing things.
I think this guy might be the one who lived the longest. Can you please stop? I think this one who kind of looks like me might have been the youngest. He didn't have a hat. And he had a bow tie. Alright.
Fuck him up.
Zoe, please.
Sorry. And then that one.
Oh, if you press middle
Top
mouse
head.
button, you do an oblivion zoom.
Whoa,
You
fun.
sure do.
That is actually very useful.
Oh, ow! There's an owl!
Are we not? Did we not do it?
No.
No, we didn't. Are those locations for good, the right ones for sure?
I mean,
These faces need to be changed because I'm pretty sure they don't look like that.
oh, I thought it just went from male to female.
No.
My
we
bad
go.
then.
I think that's.
The one with the rose, is that?
No, actually,
right?
I fucked up.
Okay, hold on.
There you go.
Oh no, wait, I just passed it.
What did you do?
I'm fixing it.
You can drag these.
There we go.
There you
There we go.
God damn it, I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
We're not done yet.
Not yet. Oh goddamn.
Yes, there's
The key, the key, yay!
What? Where did you even get the key?
That just we just
Because
got the key
that's
after we solved the
important.
puzzle. Yay, episode finished! Yay, episode finished!
Episode
Episode
finished.
finished!
Yay! Look at how happy
Episode
I am.
finished! Yeah!
Episode
Episode
finished.
finished! Fuck yeah! Well, have you escaped any of the rooms, Jody? We just did.
Do a little
Also, I
cunty
won another one.
dance. Episode finished.
Episode finished. Okay, so
Episode finished!
There's still 3 tokens left.
yeah.
I guess we can keep searching for
then.
those, but
Now let's go to the next room.
Yes.
let's just do the next thing.
Dang
Next
it.
room.
Sorry, bud. You can do it in your own time.
Do it in your own time.
Episode finished!
Episode finished.
Yeah.
Yay! Next episode. But I don't actually want to do
I-
next
Well,
episode. I
cats in
just want to.
time.
I don't want to do that. I just want to go back to the
Look at
lobby.
Then
Two
why did you
cats
do
in
it?
time.
We have other spooky things to do.
I like how you do a thing and you're like, actually, hold on. I don't want to do that.
I didn't
Cats
think it would
in
actually do next
time.
episode. I thought it would just be like,
That's
like
why-
lobby.
All right,
This wor-
exit to
Jim.
menu.
It's just like, why'd you kill everyone? I wanted to see what happened if I kill everyone. And you killed everyone. That's
I
what
didn't
happened.
think they'd die.
Hey, so we're gonna play a different one because
No,
I
apparently
actually
Zoe's not
love it,
leaving
like
his
you
room.
said, Zoe.
I'm just
Derek.
throwing stuff on the floor. Hey,
Like
don't
a
cry.
cat in
Episode
time.
finished, okay?
Zoe,
let's-
can you rejoin the
Hold on, I need to
Discord
click
again
to
because
install
you are
that.
incredibly
Also, that's
cracky.
part 2
Well,
you selected. So you've selected a part 2 of something.
Also invite me.
I have only just opened this menu. I can still select other things.
Oh, okay.
It is okay
Invite me?
not to work. Yes, I will.
Invite me.
Shut the fuck up. You want me to leave the room or what?
Then you just-
Hey.
Did I fix it?
Nope.
Well, whatever. We're just gonna have to deal with it.
We'll have
Yeah,
to deal with it.
We'll just have to do
As
it.
long as it's okay to chat.
Yeah. Oh hey.
She's killing everyone to see what happens. Yeah. It's
Yes, she
fun and
does.
exciting. What? Alright, so we've got a couple maps we can. What? Scipio posture check. You got it.
Oh, we need to install it.
Yeah, click. You just click it.
All right. Well, I'm clicking it.
You'll have to install again, by the way, because this is the wrong part.
I click part 2. Oopsie.
You mean there was no other one for you to click?
Yeah. Same. Oh wait, there's probably no.
Why did you leave?
Hold
did you
on, I'll
go?
join back. Can I not join?
No, you
back?
can't. That's how invites work.
Yes, I can. Here we go.
What?
I clicked a thing.
You're not in his. You're not back.
Oh, not yet.
Okay. Are your co-hosts finding out about the dastardly stream crackle? Yeah. Apparently it's pretty
Yeah.
bad today.
It's pretty bad.
Are you
I
sure
sent-
you
I
don't
sent
just
you
want to
a-
get an invite?
Yeah, no, I sent you a request, but it didn't apparently.
No, I didn't get it.
Oh,
What happens when I click meme again? I hope it doesn't make a meme. Ah, sorry, but it did. Listen, I know they, you're gonna feel really guilty. Ow, you're gonna feel really guilty for a little bit, but like I want you to know it's not your fault. Can happen to anyone. So like, just we'll get through this.
I don't know, that never happened to me.
Ow.
There we go.
Anyway, do you guys have Kidnapped
Will
Part
we-
1 remake
we
downloaded?
getting kidnapped?
No,
Yeah,
you
I'm
just showed
downloading
up
it
so we
right
can click it.
now.
It just showed up to
you
install.
you only see the one I have selected. Okay, I see.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay, alright, okay. Alright. Ow. Jesus, okay, fuck, you don't like that song. Got it. Jeez. Luna EXE, thank you very much for following.
So
Welcome.
slowly.
Why?
A green hand map.
I didn't think that
Wow.
it would take that long to download, otherwise I would have made you guys download
Didn't.
it. Didn't for you?
No, it just took me like
Well,
10,
it
15
appears
seconds.
I am cutting out.
Are you?
Are you?
You might be.
The download is taking longer.
wait.
You might be.
There,
Ooh.
hi, hello. I'm back, I guess.
Oh, welcome back.
I couldn't hear either of you for a little while there.
Interesting.
All right, it's downloaded.
All right,
no,
cool.
It hasn't.
Let's get-
It has. It has. I think it has.
I think so. I can start the game now. Let's go. Let's get
Hell
kidnapped.
yeah.
Kidnap you Part 1. I only take your bottom half. Kidnap you Part 2.
It's
Back
a
to the forest.
a very good loading screen. It reminds me of when I'm not wearing my glasses.
It reminds
sure
me when I
does.
am wearing your glasses.
It reminds me of when I'm wearing the wrong person's glasses,
Mine.
for example.
But yeah, so this is a community-made series of levels. I've been told by a dear friend that they are very good. So let's get spooked. Gotta say, this music isn't giving me horror vibes just yet.
Might just be standard in-game music.
Yeah.
Maybe
What
yes.
if it opens up and it just goes
What if it goes? What if it goes?
Yeah, what if it goes?
What if it goes?
What if it
I wouldn't-
goes?
1, 2,
I like how both of you have stopped doing music.
Yay!
Oh, hey.
I mean, when
Whoa,
did we
video
ever
games
do
and
music?
shit.
Oh my god, I'm
Whoa!
sorry.
Oh my god! It's the PlayStation.
Oh my
It's that
God,
console that I like.
loud.
Scary.
It is a little bit
I'm
loud.
wearing someone's hat.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
kind of
Not
weird.
mine.
We're wearing Luke's hat right now.
It is so incredibly
You're welcome.
loud.
Anyway, Ratchet and Clank, Legend of Zelda.
Is this a fucking?
I
Is
love
this
Legend of
a?
Zelda.
Remake. I'm gonna press start.
Oh, you did.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Oh, finally, I'm
Ooh.
no longer in your sender. Oh, it's
Awesome. Hold
dark
on.
in
I'm
here.
turning on the volume a little bit.
That's pretty.
I can't pick things up.
You just look at the wrong things. Like I
Okay,
like I found this
here's-
umbrella.
Here are the cycles of the moon, everyone. Is there a window or somewhere?
I found an
I
umbrella.
don't know. I'm just
Oh,
taking
there's
an
a scary
upside-down
painting,
tower.
gang. I found a scary painting.
I found an umbrella.
It's scary.
Ooh. I found a steam vent.
I
I'm
found a
just
skull.
enjoying myself here.
I found a bunch of
Enjoy-
levers.
Enjoy the burnt skin.
It's tasty.
Upside down compass picture.
Oh, I can do
Alright.
that too.
Oh,
Awesome.
hey, so
Join us,
question.
Luke.
Hold on, I found the answer to the levers.
Oh, cool. Nice.
What is it?
So, okay, so someone go do it. I'll tell you what they're
Yeah.
on. Oh, so from left to right, it's down,
Mm-hmm.
up,
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
up,
Yep.
down.
Yeah. Did it.
Okay.
Did it do anything?
No.
No, but maybe we still have to turn the
Oh,
power
it's an
on.
upside down compass picture. Maybe we need to do it inverse. Try
Alright.
try inverting it.
Nope.
Oh, yeah, that worked.
Yay!
That's so silly.
Yeah.
That's silly because the picture was upside down. The answer was upside down.
Hello, Barbara.
Ooh, the
What?
performance
Would
goes
you
a little
like to
bit down
play
if
a
I
little
look into this
game?
room.
What do you?
Oh, okay.
Ooh, the scary woman.
Let's see.
I have an umbrella.
Okay, over
Who's
there, on the whiteboard there, I see like numbers and the cycles of the moon,
I found a bucket.
and over here is a box with the cycles of the
I
moon.
found a pea.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Well,
So-
let's have a look over at those cycles of the moon.
Okay, let's
So,
first
number
try
one-
pressing them in. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So number one is shit. I don't know what their names are.
Well,
God,
they're in. They're. It's seven.
backwards T.
Well, hold on a second. They're in the same order, right? Hold on.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
they're in the
just
same
tell me,
order,
like,
so you
which-
just-
Yeah.
I know.
which
I'm
number they are?
telling you in the order. You just want to tell me that. Okay, so one.
What? No.
then,
Huh?
Oh.
You want me to tell
So,
you
like,
them
the-
in order, right?
Yeah. So,
So
the
which one you need to do first, from left to right, all right? So
Okay,
the first
yes.
one is the first one, the one.
Okay.
I'm gonna name that one. Then the third one,
Uh huh.
second to last,
Uh huh.
middle, the second, third to last, and the last.
It works.
Hey.
Yeah.
I got a
we got
laser
it.
pointer.
Word.
I have a
Right.
laser point. Oh, I
Where's
threw
the
it.
cat?
I think I know where to place the cube. There's an H here.
Wait. Oh, that I was
Probably
confused
help.
why I couldn't pick this one up.
It's probably help, I guess.
Or it's hope.
Nah, I don't believe in hope. It's a horror game.
Maybe it's Hank with a P.
Hank with a P.
There's a door that says keep out. So I don't think we should. Oh, there's a mirror. Can you show
Yeah,
me
maybe you can
the
laser
laser
point on
pointer of the mirror?
Where's? Oh.
How do I
Oh, wait, I can-
tag?
I can put it here.
Alt.
Alt?
Ooh, okay. Yes. I'm doing it, and that's
I-
burning down that
you
key.
burned the key.
Oh wait,
Which
can I grab it with the
now
umbrella?
Ooh, can
Yeah.
I can.
you? Nice.
Hell yeah.
This is nice.
Hey, I have a
Speed
key.
Fucking run.
Let's see. Let's look at it. What's locked?
There's a little box here.
Oh,
that you
right,
can
here.
open.
Let me
Little
see.
medicine cabinet.
Oh,
It's
TV
got a
cable.
TV cable.
Ah,
Let me
now we
see
can
I
play our
got-
favorite game, Kidnap. Oh, we're being raided. Hold on. Hello, Voxit and all your viewers. Hi. Foxhead, how are you
Hello.
doing? I think you should deserve
hi.
a shout out because you're like a really fucking amazing 3D modeler and everything. Anyway, I hope you had a good time working on some low poly stuff. Hello everyone, I'm currently Spectral Queen, always Zoe. I'm also a 3D modeler. And I am here together with my friends Noodle and Luke, escaping from scary places. Woo! Libiarty, thank you very much for following. Hi.
Welcome, welcome
Hello,
everyone. So I
Hello.
found this lovely little thing which I'm going to use to open this.
Okay.
That's
Oh wait.
Jesus.
I don't know what to do with it. Do I close it?
Anyway.
I don't know.
It's not doing it. Oh,
Oh.
God.
Oh, I know what to do here.
Shower.
Oh, an E came out. Anyway, here's a bucket. That's not, hold on, maybe.
Please, place.
Maybe if you put it on my head.
No.
Oh.
Of course not. That is silly.
All right. Well, there was
Anyway, I found an L.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Put the L there.
Help. It
Yeah.
worked.
Um,
Crowbar.
Crowbar.
Now we can use
break
that.
open those things.
And then we can use it on this thing.
Drop it.
And then we
we can use it.
You can
Oh, wait, here we
like
go.
target things. Yeah, there you go.
That makes
Just
a little
drop
bit
it
more
on the
sense.
ground.
There we go.
there we go.
Oh,
It's just like Gord
scary
Freeman.
mouse.
Yay, a friend.
Scary.
We love a mousey.
Trunk. Trunk, my favorite Dragon Ball
I was
character.
just gonna say.
Ooh, we've got a little skull board here.
Ooh, hey, I gotta
Rules.
say that is a pretty unnerving painting.
It's pretty good. Can you stop jingling
Little fun,
those
bud?
chains?
Door won't open.
I can tell. I
Door won't
can
open.
see
Buddy,
a real
buddy,
turn up
buddy,
about
buddy, buddy,
this
buddy,
one.
buddy. That's what what
Yeah?
we're here for. We're gonna figure it out
Oh,
together.
thank God.
Yeah, it's okay.
Who are they?
That is a Basinski painting, Chet informs me.
Ooh,
And they are
It's
also
like
here to help
like,
us, but only through riddles.
thank you, Basinski. Well, I'm just
Alright.
gonna hide here.
Basinski?
I'm just hiding.
Alright.
I'm scared.
Let's see, okay, so we need...
I'm gonna
we
try
need-
so-
That's okay, buddy. Hey, it's okay, hey, we'll get through it together, you know?
Oh,
It's a-
hi, hello.
it's a-
Boo!
Ah! Ah, I'm stuck. Oh, there I am. Oh, no.
Anyway, I'm gonna try solve the skull
Alright,
board.
do it.
Okay,
What's the
working time.
game rules?
Okay, yellow is at C6. Blue is in dead last, so that's the lowest number, I guess.
If you tried escaping via punching, Sunny does not
No,
have
this is
not
gonna
free
be
this game.
terrible if we're all doing this.
Okay, but what if I do this?
How do we do it?
The highest combination of number and letter is one in first place, and you need to order them according to the standings.
Wait
And
a
do you
second.
move them using valves? That's
wheels.
annoying.
That's fine. They're more like buttons you press and it switches them around. Okay, that's
Zoe,
Yeah?
are you seeing something interesting here?
I did it.
Case with
Got a
oh,
magnifier.
nice. We're gonna need that for this.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
there's a
magnify
little
the fuck out of
door.
this.
Stuart Little
where?
lives
Where's
here.
the little door? Oh, there it is.
It's doing it. 8,
Well,
Oh,
3, 8, 3, 7.
all right. Yeah, I
Alright.
put it on there.
Oh,
It
well,
just
that's
wrote it
boring.
down on there.
It's a
Eight.
little boring.
a little bit, but it's fine. 837. Open. A golden
Eee,
key
for the little door.
for the little
mean,
door.
It
No,
might
the
be
door
this
is
door with
it's
the
like the
axe.
size
It's
of the
a
door.
Big door. Oh God, it's got an axe in it.
Did you not
Ooh.
see it?
Can we have the axe?
No, I didn't. I was too busy like being scared.
Oh.
Oh, we're outside. Where-
There was
Wait,
someone
wait,
in that
wait.
house and now they're gone.
Oh, cool.
It sure was.
I
You
didn't
know
see
what?
it.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah, you go take a shit.
Hold on, there's a
Anyway,
bloody
I
note
still
here.
have a bucket. I still have a bucket.
Oh
Okay,
well, I
gang-
mean, I might need a refill here.
Ew.
We have a bloody note which says, I don't have much time left, but if the next person finds this, he hides the key where the brown grass grows. Where he
Well, I've got a
shits.
plunger, so
I'm gonna
safe.
Cool, I got a crowbar, so
Stop doing
I'm
it.
I can take on an alien invasion at this point.
I can take on a clogged
Ooh, a shovel.
toilet.
I found a shovel.
Okay,
I'm gonna dig in
shovel.
the brown grass.
Alright.
Battery!
I'm
Gee,
gonna
key.
open up the door. Oh, it doesn't.
I got a key.
You got a key?
Yeah, I found it in
Oh,
the brown
yeah.
grass.
Nice.
Well, I don't know how they got out of here. I guess they climbed through the chimney. Whoever I saw
Alright.
in here.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Santa. Blood soup, blood soup, blood soup,
Ooh.
blood soup.
This is spooky painting.
Where?
Rubik's Cube!
Yo, the best puzzle of all.
Oh, yeah.
Red sus. Oh,
It's
that's
already
fun.
solved.
Gang, look at these blocks here. Gang.
Oh my god, listen to the, listen, I can play a little music tune. Here, wait, let me play, let's see if we can recognize it.
I know what you're going to do. I knew it. I fucking... No!
I made this sound. You're fucking. But look over here. Look over here. Look over here.
There's a box up here.
Look.
Oh, I know what to do with
Look.
that.
Can you guys still hear me?
What?
Hello. Look at
Yes.
this.
What?
Red sus. God
Yeah.
fucking damn. I'm leaving.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I'm gonna get this
Yo,
box.
Eat My Sun
Wow.
World. Gang, it's Eat My Sun
Oh, yeah.
World.
Yum, 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 yum.
I'm gonna get this box. I got a broom.
Box? Where you got a box?
Wait, was that
it's
text
over-
on there?
Found it.
Sick. You found
Lighter.
some blue.
You want this lighter?
I want the lighter.
There you go.
Ah, it's a bit lighter than I expected.
Eat My Sun universe.
Let me just...
Welcome
X, I
to
wonder
Eat
who
My
can
Sun
use that on.
Galaxy.
Watch out, I got a plunger.
You're not really
Hey,
using
I've got
it.
these exact wine glasses.
Oh,
These
that's
are
nice.
here.
I think I've seen it. Why was there a small door?
I
in
have
that?
those
What?
too. I was called them wine
I
glasses.
do. And then I did.
They are wine glasses. They're
But they
wine...
don't have the. They don't have
I
the
know,
foot
they're
thingy.
wine glasses without a foot. That's
Ew,
their whole deal.
Gross.
What?
That's gross.
Look,
Oh.
wait, look up there! Oh my god! On top
I'm
of
Oh
going
my
to
god. Come on.
this
Oh.
map is so scary.
Hey, look, it's
I
my
can't scoop
bisexual
up the
life.
blood.
Nice.
Nice. Anyway,
Okay, we need a 4-number cone.
We need also a key.
Perhaps if we get the 4-number code, we can get the key.
Ooh. Perhaps if we get the key, we can get the phone number.
Oh, I hadn't thought about it like that yet.
Yeah. This blood is very
interesting.
thick. This blood is thicker than water.
Trying to see if there's anything else to be interactable around it.
Wait a minute. It's sheet music.
Oh, the sheet music. You could have played that.
No. There's
Ah.
like a thing sticking out. Once we've opened this, I know how to play it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how do you-
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, now we gotta
Okay.
find a key.
Yeah.
Can't reuse the shovel.
Can't reuse. Can we just reuse the front door key? No, we can't. That would have been cheap.
Would have been funny.
Right.
Maybe just. Okay, can't do.
Oh, I keep forgetting that you can like closer inspect something. Let's see this blue lighter.
Gang, do you think the
There is a
kidnapper
blue
thinks we're
lighter.
cute?
Oh, wait a minute. I've got plunger.
Ow, ow. Oh, yeah, you got the
Yeah,
Le
but-
Plongeon.
There we
Goodbye,
go.
blood soup. Ow.
It ate the plunger. Oh yeah, I've got the
Hand.
key.
Hey, thanks for giving
I
us a
don't
hand.
care about that hand. I care about the key. And now we've got the blood music.
Can't do the
Nice.
Rubik's Cube. Can't do the Rubik's.
Can I? Yes, I pulled the thing out.
Uh-huh.
Here, Zoe, this is for you.
Thank you. I will take it and cherish it forever.
Okay. There's a song here called The Bone. Oh my god, oh no, oh thank god. It
What
fell
did you
below-
almost drop it behind
fell-
everything?
It fell below the thingy, so I couldn't see it.
Oh my
Shit,
god.
it's
Lynn.
OG.
Alright.
Oh gee.
Oh, Zoe, did
I
you
gotta-
take it?
I got it. Well, I'm busy. I died on stream.
Oh, what? Oh.
I died.
No, but,
My
What-
VTuber
What are
model.
you doing?
I keep trying to put down the Bones sheet music, but it teleports back into my
Hello.
hands. Am I
Well
like it?
then,
Oh, it just falls through the world. That's it.
Yeah, and then it. Yeah.
And then it teleports back to my hand. Okay.
Hold on, try to drop and see. Maybe
gotta
I
put
can get
on-
it.
Okay, be quick. Nope.
It's
you
just gone
can't.
instantly.
So what are
Okay.
you guys trying to do? I was gone for a little bit.
I'm trying to put down a
Liv,
thing.
it's just not gonna happen, I think.
Through the world. So, can someone write this down and so I remember this?
All right,
I
Chet, help
can't
us
even
out.
look at it.
No.
Help
I'm
us out,
like
Chad.
I
This is
will
up to you.
read it out for you. So if
No.
you could write it down.
Wait, I can
Yeah?
look at it.
Okay. So
Well, I did. Hold on.
Okay,
You keep
Stop.
like
If you
moving.
could
You keep
stop
moving. Stop moving.
sorry.
Then we can write it down if you stop moving.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first bone is G.
Yeah.
The second bone
G, F,
is
D.
F. The third bone is D. And the fourth bone is A.
Yeah.
That's not the answer.
But that's not.
No, but you have to write
What I
that
need.
down also, so we know that for reference, right?
Oh no, that I just heard.
Yeah, but I'm telling Chet to write it down, and Chet is writing it down.
Oh, okay.
And then you
So
have to
we
play
got
the sequence
A F D G.
A F D G
A
A
F G
F
G.
G G. That is the sequence you have to play. Okay, Chet, do it. Write that down, please.
Okay.
I hope they did.
Ta-da!
Did you do it? Nice job.
It opened a thing. Warm me.
Oh, I put
Okay.
them in fire.
Oh, wait,
Yep.
here. I'll light the candle.
Oh,
Guess that also.
That's
that
much
also
better.
works.
Yeah.
yep, there we go.
What did it do?
Wabum mistake. Oh, 4, 3,
I put-
1, 6.
4, 3, 1, 6.
Thank you, Chet, for the help.
It slammed
Fish.
into my face.
Let me.
Fish.
What you got, Dal?
Beautiful
I
fish.
managed to steal this painting from a spaceman before he took me here. It acts like a key to a
Spaceman?
puzzle. Whatever it unlocks, he won't be able to open it now.
I like how very clean its back is.
Yeah, I know, right?
What's the painting?
hey, look,
Can
I think we
you
did it.
inspect it? Oh,
Yeah, it doesn't show me anything though.
it's a Baz. It's Baz Pro Shop. Wait, you
I
can see
assume
me wave.
this
Hi,
thing is-
Zoe.
Hi. I know
I think that's the end of part 1.
I think so, yeah.
All right, well. Oh, no,
yeah.
it
Nope,
isn't.
never
no,
mind.
It isn't. What?
We're back in the. Oh!
What?
Back in
That
the
was
beginning.
weird.
Huh?
No, we're not in the
Oh,
beginning.
there's more paintings here. You can
How does
put
that
them
work?
in here.
This is not the beginning.
This is
No,
wild.
no.
I mean, it's okay.
But
so
this
it's not the
door, this is the door we actually opened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we left for a bit. I guess.
Dude, they got some good paintings.
Ooh,
Alright, let me
screwdriver.
put this in here.
I can go with
Yay! The spinning.
this. That's a spider.
Whee!
You guys are doing great.
We're doing good. Also, yes, I am a Bionicle now, Chad, because this is my original VTubing model that I
found
had
a
before I
screwdriver.
made my own model.
I found a mousetrap. And with cheese, give me that.
Yes.
Just kidding.
Anyway, I've got a screwdriver. I'm gonna open this.
Wait, Soup,
yeah.
thank you very much for the egg.
There we go.
What we got here?
It's a sledgehammer.
A sledgehammer.
A slam jammer.
A slam.
I wish we could grab that and kill the
Oh,
killer with it.
there's a poem in here.
Is that? Where?
Yeah, it was on the door.
North.
Oh, okay.
Nature's Morning.
The
a poem
bones.
by Cassidy Winston. In early hours of the day, when the dog faces north, the fish heads south, and the bird tweets in the west, the morning sun rises. Yet at night, the squirrel faces opposite of what he does in the day. At night he faces northwest, but as he rests, so do I. That was a terrible poem.
Yeah, but
I
it's
think it was
supposed.
beautiful. So north is over here, Zoe. Right here, where I'm standing.
Okay. Right, that
Can
makes
you read
sense
it out
because
again?
that makes sense because I found that north clue. I did
Yeah.
it. It was me.
You. Can you read out a poem again?
When the dog faces north, the fish heads south, and the bird tweets in the west.
Okay. In the west, over here. And the squirrel?
The squirrel faces opposite of what he does in the day. At night he faces northwest, so then southeast.
All right. Well, southeast it is.
Oh,
There we go. It opened. It's got bolt
cutters.
Let's cut some bolts.
I got cheese.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's
Cut.
go.
Cut.
Oh, hold on, just a moment
Cut.
for it. Okay.
Oh.
Don't go in yet, because I have to switch back to my other model.
Okay.
I have cheese.
No,
Can I
I'm not
eat
sure.
it?
Hold on, I
Oh,
have to
it's
glow.
mine.
I have to glow.
I found
People
it.
can't see me without my glow.
Oh no.
It can't be seen without
She's
my...
back. Is she? Is she?
I'm back.
Oh no. Yay.
Wow.
Hello.
Alright, let's go in. There's the. Oh my god, what did they do to
Ooh.
her? What did
She
they
is
do to my
normal.
girl?
She is normal.
Property of Mr. Mouse.
Property of Mr. Mouse, no trespassing unless you possess cheese.
Well, that's for me. I can go in. I have the cheese.
You can go in, go ahead.
Here,
I
Mouse.
found toilet paper, y'all.
Mouse.
Oh,
Grab
my
the
mouse, little mouse. Hello.
Where's the mouse? Where's the
Okay.
mouse?
Oh, thanks for the key.
Medicine cabinet key.
Oh, well, here it is.
Oh, that's convenient. It just tells you.
Oh, the tiny key for a tiny door.
The
I've
tiny
got
door. Let's go in the tiny door.
right here.
I'm so excited to go in the tiny door.
Click, click. Oh, God.
Oh, fuck.
Ah!
Oh, we're tiny.
Oh, we're
No, we're in the tiny door.
Oh no, the tiny zone.
This is getting
We're
a
in
bit
the tiny zone.
weird.
It's a little wacky.
Wow.
Welcome.
I was thinking this is just like
Ah,
whoa.
fuck me.
Was that a spider?
Yes.
Okay.
The book key.
Are you good to keep going, Luke?
Yeah, no, it just really started me.
All right. Well, okay. From here on out, Chad, be careful if you have arachnophobia.
There's a
That
spider.
might come up.
There's an open book. I've
Yeah.
read the last couple things. Someone else gets to read this one.
The demonic
so you
entities
can do
have
this one.
the demonic entities have blessed me with amazing and creative abilities. I call this what?
It's just the demonic entities have something just like, all right, story.
I call this creation the Maze of Books. A maze sure to dissuade any unsuspecting victim from ever escaping. Sometimes I come here to clear my mind. That is, if I can remember my troubles. My memory has grown quite foggy ever since I used that pentagram. I suspect my newfound abilities have come at a cost. What that is, I am unsure.
I don't know, maybe
$5.
5 buckaroonies.
Hello.
Yeah, I know.
Hi.
Hello. Let's see what
Welcome to Arby's. What can I get you?
what?
Existential dread.
I don't know what Arby's serves.
Existential dread.
Burger.
Meat.
The meat.
It's in the name. The meat. All right. Well, here you go. It's imaginary.
You know my name, Michael Spencer.
What?
Who's
It
that?
says this on the book here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty funny.
I mean, obviously I do.
Can we just go
all
back?
right,
They
let me
sell
open up
beef
the
and health
garage
code
door.
violations.
Here we go.
And don't forget about the existential.
God damn it, dude.
That startled me way less than the spider.
Oh, what's this? Oh no. A note
What is
with
that?
clocks.
How to educate a forest troll. ABC from S. Molina.
Oh, nice.
What's in here?
Old woman never dies.
This is
I
true.
love these book titles.
They're very good.
Lost in Rome. Ah, so that's where Carmen Sandiego is.
Ooh, I found
Theory.
something.
About religion.
The truth about religion.
It's
These
big
books
sucks.
are great.
Okay, here's a bunch of puzzle shit.
Wide
Okay,
open.
clock.
Eyes wide open.
That's a song by Goche. It's pretty. Oh, I opened
what
this clock.
buckets? Hell
We've
yeah.
got a clock right here.
Okay, and
one right there,
like,
and one in the middle. Okay.
All right.
I have buckets now.
So I've got a note to help us
Uh-huh.
out here. The
Fuck, I'm not
clock
going
on the
there.
left needs to be on 3 o'clock.
Am I?
All right.
Is that
can do
where I am?
It's on.
The clock on the left.
I'm on the
So
right,
it
aren't
is
I?
another yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
The clock in the middle needs to be on 10 to 7.
10 to 7.
Yeah.
All right.
6:50.
There we go.
I can't wait to be helpful.
And
No,
then
wait,
the
I fucked it
final
up.
clock on the right, the biggest one, needs to be on needs to be on 515. Okay, and now we pull the lever.
Wow.
Door
Steve
control
Queen.
panel. Wait, why is there just
Steve
a
Queen. Day and night. Is that a parody of Stephen King?
I think it might be.
Steve Queen.
Steve Queen, not a real name. Open.
Alright. Something's open.
With your eyes
Oh,
wide
this spider web's
open.
here.
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
didn't run ahead.
Oh, books,
Books are key.
Books are
No, silly. Books are books.
I'm gonna walk into this.
advanced
Me too.
potion making.
Oh no, we can't go in here.
Libacious Barage's advanced potion making.
Good.
There's also
Okay,
a
let's see
magical
what's back
floating
here.
bowl over here. That's pretty exciting.
That's pretty
Vault.
cool.
Oh, I think this is the door you opened.
Oh fuck! I had
Books are
Fallout. We're
key. I've
dying.
got the books right here.
Yo. Okay, the books are the key.
I-
Alright.
Did you know I've got 3 buckets?
The
Okay.
books.
I have 3 buckets.
No. Why do you have 3
Aren't
buckets?
you-
They're all gonna be
They-
useful during the finale, during the boss fight.
They keep making this
Oh, my brain.
quote-unquote puzzle thing where they hide a thing under a bucket and then you pick up the bucket and then you find the thing. And we're like, great, what do you do with the bucket? Apparently nothing. What do you do with this box?
No,
You
the
keep it for
buckets
funsies.
are important. You'll need them later.
Yeah, during the finale.
So the books
We
are
put them
key.
all on the villain's 3 heads and then they can't see anything anymore.
Yeah.
What are the villains? The
So,
3
okay,
stooges?
I've got. You're over at the books.
Yes.
I've got the
Yes.
answer right here. So push them all in at the moment. Right now.
Yeah, they are pushed
Uh-huh.
in.
Okay. Then push out the following: the first, the third,
Oops.
and the
Yeah.
final
Hold on.
2. Those
you
you already
already.
pulled out.
Hold on. There we go.
Oh, I fucked up. Alright, it is
we
open. We have a
Help
key.
me, the books.
I got a
They
key.
eat. Maybe.
All right. Let's see where we need this key.
You can use it to unlock the cobweb.
Can I?
Use it to unlock the
No.
cobweb.
I don't know. Shut up.
What? Sorry. It's
So,
funny.
You're so
we got
meansies.
the queen.
What?
Got the queen cobweb embarrassment.
Bah. I don't
Okay, where
deserve this
do
kind
we
of
do-
treatment.
Okay, it's not this
What?
way.
Okay, what? Hold on. That's really
Gorilla
funny.
Queen is
That's
a
how you
valid
books
name.
in the big book area.
There's a thing
That is very
here.
fun. I mean, it makes sense. If you're
Okay.
very small in here, like, you can read the big books.
Oh, I found the door.
Man and his woman by Richard L. Boomer.
Boomer! Oh, that's
Sorry.
good.
That is a very boomer book title. A
Yes,
Man and His
extremely.
Woman.
This way, Zoe. Oop. Zoe?
That is not you. Hold
I
on.
don't know what this way is.
Hello.
Well, the one that I'm showing Zoe.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Okay, over here.
There's a door here.
It works.
There we go. What's in
Ah,
there? Ah!
Oh my god, it's
Oh,
Estial MX. I'm scared.
I've picked up the torch.
this opens and closes. Great.
Okay. Oh, you can
Oh
use
my
it to
God.
burn down
Oh
the
my God.
cobweb.
Look! I'm inspecting the torch. Check it out.
Why is
It's a fucking match.
That's not great.
it? Also.
Oh yeah, let's try it on the cobwebs.
Is dairy 2 or 3 syllables? Is dairy peanut butter on? It is.
If we have to fight the spider, you guys have to do it.
Yeah, don't worry,
obviously.
bud. You just stay behind for a little bit.
It doesn't.
What do you mean it doesn't? It would totally be for this,
It doesn't
right?
work.
Well, maybe you might have to fight the right point to click.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Wait, huh? It disappeared.
What did?
The cobweb or the torch?
The torch.
Did you throw it again?
Does
Uh-oh.
one of you have it?
No.
I don't.
I didn't throw anything, I think. Wait, no,
I-
I might have. Fuck.
Oh god!
Shit.
Did it fell? Did it fell to the
I
floor?
think
But maybe
might
it's
have
stuck on
fallen
something
through the
deeper.
floor.
Oh no.
Oh, is this
Chat
it?
help.
This is it.
This might be it. It didn't
fuck.
respawn.
It didn't respawn this
Crap.
time. Let me just use the bolt cutters.
What? Yeah. Hold
Oh,
on. I have,
no.
and I have a screwdriver. Why can't we just use these?
Because that's not how it works. I also
That's
have a crowbar still.
Let
Hold
me
on, let me
see.
use-
Maybe it's
Bucket.
spawned back.
Ah,
Fuck.
hold on.
Place
Bucket.
where it came
Oh,
from.
Hold on. Buckets. Ah, it's
This-
stacked.
this- this'll do it.
didn't
Fun, there's
spawn
stacks.
back. Can we reload this?
We might have to
checkpoint or
restart this
whatever?
check. Can you do that, Zoe?
Yeah, but then we'd have to redo the entire thing, I think.
Well, maybe
The whole thing.
what entire thing? Like this room or everything?
The entire thing. Like, we are still just on part 1.
Oh right, because this is just one giant room, I guess is what this counts as.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Well, we'll just have to speedrun, I guess.
we can do that.
Alright.
I guess.
Next time, no dropping any items that are small.
Yeah, no.
Please don't.
This thing was big actually.
But clearly wasn't when you checked it out.
No,
Well, let's-
yeah, but when
let's
I picked
speedrun.
it up, it was.
Don't look seek.
Oh
Yeah,
my
thanks,
god.
bud. Come on, remake, let's go!
The remake might need a remaster.
You knew it was gonna go wrong from the moment we inspected that torch and it looked like that, you know?
Yeah, kinda. It was like,
Was that the moment it went wrong?
yeah, that
I don't know.
was the.
They managed to teleport like the notes to my hand.
No, that's probably because it
Genius,
actually
man.
fell into like a sort of kill zone that respawned it. The torch
Yeah,
might
but
have
this one
actually
didn't.
gotten something stuck just underneath the floor,
Ah.
which can
That, or maybe it
might
like
have
got
been a-
thrown past the cobweb somehow.
Yeah,
No,
like
it
maybe.
didn't get thrown past the cobweb for sure, though. Because
You
you
know.
can't throw things.
Yeah, you can, I've done
Queen.
it.
Speedrun Crane, a viable name.
It is.
Oh yeah, it is.
It's just. You already made that. It's Fennec the King.
Ah!
Yeah, so you run so fast. Ah!
If you look
exactly.
there's a what? This is a Zelda poster?
No, it's
Yeah.
Gem of Zelda. Gem of Zelda.
yeah,
You
it
have
is
to
Gem
check
of
out the
Zelda.
poster.
Oh, nice.
Gender of Zelda.
Gender of Zelda, everyone! What is gender of
Wow.
Zelda?
Whatever she wants.
True. Didn't take your sippy and stretch. Oh shit, I'm actually out of sippy, so I've just been eating grapes, which counts, I think. But I'll do the stretch.
Okay.
Alright.
So
Lights on. How did we do that?
underneath the.
Alright, yes, okay. Up, down, up, down, down, up.
Up,
Did I miss
down,
any eggs? Yes, I
up.
did.
Up, down, down, up.
Time to fry. And
There
NG
we
Baka. Sorry that I missed you guys earlier.
Alright, let's see.
There we go.
Bucket. I need a bucket. An umbrella. I need an umbrella.
The gender of Zelda, a link to the trans.
Yeah. Oh, right. The moons.
Yes, I'm
I'll
looking
tell
at
you
it.
which ones you need to click. Okay.
Uh-huh.
1,
Mm-hmm.
3,
Mm-hmm.
6,
Yes.
4,
Uh-huh.
2,
Uh-huh.
7.
I think we missed one.
Yeah, you
again.
should.
All right. 1,
1,
3,
3,
6,
6,
4,
4,
2,
2,
5,
5.
7.
Yeah, we missed a 5
I think it was
before.
5 last time. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
Laser time.
It's time.
I'll have the umbrella ready.
Yes, here it comes, here it
Yeah.
comes. Go,
Here we
go,
go.
go, go, go. We're gonna get the best
Go, go,
time.
go,
I
go, go, go,
I gotta keep. I gotta
go.
keep.
Okay, go, go, go.
All right, open it up. Open it up. All right,
Go,
TV.
go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Yes.
Hey, I'll do the thing. You do
Yes.
the other thing.
Yeah,
What
I
other
got
thing?
the
I don't
L.
know.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I got the L.
Come on, come on,
It's
come
not
on,
doing
come
it.
Let me help you.
Do I need to seriously need to keep like? Do I need to go slowly?
Come on.
Maybe the other way around. Why did it do it last time but not this time? You do it.
All
I wanna
right.
try it.
So
What the hell? Hold
I
on.
think you're doing it wrong.
I wanna try. Can I try?
Well, if I just
Remember?
Oh, there we go.
There we go. You did it.
Okay,
I just started spam clicking it, and apparently that worked.
Yeah.
Go,
yeah,
go,
yeah,
go,
yeah.
go,
Open
go,
it
go.
up. Open it up.
Yeah,
Open it up,
yeah,
open it
yeah,
up,
yeah,
Go, 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 go.
Yeah.
Go, go, go. Go, go, go.
Yeah.
Okay, go, 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 go. Ah, Miles, I'm so scared.
Okay, okay.
What was it again?
Yeah, you're used to that one. You do that one.
Fuck! I don't
Yes,
remember.
yes,
I don't remember how to do this.
No, you can do it. We believe in you so hard.
Okay, so that one goes over there.
Hello, Crimson
Red
Flame
is
Fletcher
a-
also.
Hey,
gender of
remember?
Zelda.
Eee, I'm hiding. Ooh,
Ooh, hey, it's okay. It's okay to be scared.
Oh,
Hi,
no.
you.
Ooh, ooh.
Oh, and then Luke came in and was like, woo, and we were like, oh.
There we go. I got it.
Awesome, great
Okay,
job.
what you got?
Back in fire.
Hey, you put it on there and it tells
it
us
was
what
like
to do
8-3
next.
something.
It'll just
8,
tell
3,
you.
7. Right.
There you go.
8, 3, 7.
He.
Small smoky. Go,
Time
go,
to
go.
teleport. We're going so fast. We're doing
Yeah,
this.
come on,
This is
come on,
great.
come on, come on.
Go fast.
Put it in.
I don't have it.
Wait,
Oh,
who
wait, what?
grabbed the key?
Nobody picked it up.
Come
Tiny
on.
key. I thought you picked it up.
No, I
thought you
didn't.
picked it up.
It's gonna reflect poorly on our time.
Oh, I saw the face this
Alright,
time.
I'll
Ooh, I
pick
saw
up
the
the
person. Ooh,
plunger.
scary.
So-
Get the plunger.
I'm
Plunger.
shitting.
The shovel,
Isn't that
shovel.
funny?
You're
Alright,
shooting.
next.
I'm digging. Great. Key.
Yay! Ha ha
Yeah,
ha!
alright,
Zoe.
yeah, open it up.
Through the door, go.
Okay. Red sauce. Boop, 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 boop.
God damn it.
Oh, red sauce, hoo-hoo.
Sauce.
Okay, plunge, come on.
Ooh, Rubik's.
Box. Lighter.
Okay, let me just flop.
Yes, very good.
You're welcome.
It was AG.
We need the key.
It was A.
I have the key.
Was it ADGF ADGG?
I will now
There we go.
have the notes on the
Yeah,
easy.
we got it. We did
Yeah,
it.
alright, good job.
We remembered.
316.
4316. Fuck, I'm going too fast.
Come on.
4.
You
3,
ruined it. Come on,
1,
time.
6. There. I'm in. I'm out.
Okay, I got the thing. I got the painting. Let's go.
No, the notes. Oh, my collection of useless items.
I'm so sorry.
No.
It's
Okay, dog goes to the south.
I'm
Yes, this
screwing
one
over
goes
here.
here. This one goes like over here.
Screw driving. Driving
we
the
do it?
screw. I
There we
dropped
go.
it.
I got it.
Okay,
The-
go.
the screw has
Bolt
been driven.
cutter.
Bolt cutter.
Dog
Let's
face.
go.
Wow, we
God, we're
already did
fucking
that.
doing
Wait, no,
it.
the cheat.
We are
forgot the
transgender heroes
cheese.
right now. We're male, female, and non-binary.
Mr.
Get
Mouse
cheese.
wants to hang out with
Can't believe you forgot the cheese.
I'm so
I
sorry,
forgot-
Mr. Mouse.
This is walk
I'm
over to
sorry.
me, hovering some cheese in your hand. It's great. There's nothing in there. Where's the mouse? I didn't see the mouse. Oh, there
Mouse
it
right
is.
there.
Sorry, you problem.
Get the key. It's the key.
Tiny key.
Tiny key.
Tiny key. Tiny key.
Sorry.
Tiny key.
Alright,
It's
back in here, back in
It's
here.
time. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time.
It's time. We're here. Can't fucking
Alright,
see
we're
it.
making some good time here.
We're actually doing great.
Yeah, we're doing so good.
Okay.
Okay, go. Oh, spider.
Still
Oh.
got me.
Alright, got a key.
Oh, book.
It's right here.
Here we go.
Ah, wow!
The mouse killed us.
That was. I don't think that was a
it's the
mouse.
Clocks.
this time. Oh no, the things went out. Okay, let's wait for the clocks.
What is this thing?
Okay, you tell me which ones I need. I'm
No,
picking
give me
up
those
the
buckets.
bucket.
They're mine.
I picked up one bucket. It's mine.
No.
Yes,
Kill
I
you.
don't have my sheet music anymore, so
Fine.
Maybe I can drop it
Zoe
now.
has those.
Hold on.
this is 3
No,
o'clock,
try
right?
it. Nope. Sure can't.
Oh,
Yeah,
and-
3
oh, I
o'clock.
got it back.
3
Ooh, second press
o'clock.
check.
10 to 7, and then 5:15.
10 to 7. It's fucking. There we go. 10 to 7.
I keep going crazy eyes when I zoom in on stuff.
Quarter
Fucked it
past
up.
how much?
5:15. Also, you fucked up the middle one.
Did I? Oh, whoops.
Yes, you just left it at. You just left
Oh,
it at
did I
9.
break it?
Oh, whoops. Okay, click.
Nope.
Oh, it's not good yet.
What's wrong? What's wrong here?
I hope that's the case.
Quarter
Okay.
past 5, you said, right?
Yes, but hold on. Maybe this. Right, I forgot to put it on. There we go.
There we go.
There you go.
Come
Alright,
on.
you one of y'all stand with the books and tell me which one to pull out.
Oh,
look.
Look, it's up to you.
Oh yeah. Look, go over to no, not to us. Okay, let me do it.
Okay.
Which one do I need to pull out?
The first one?
Yeah,
The third one
yeah.
and the last two.
Yep.
Thank you. What?
I
Are
got
you
the fourth.
sure?
Yeah, you got the fourth instead of the third.
Oh, whoops. I
Get
can
the
count.
key.
I promise.
Better.
Okay, Zoe, you do the torch now. I'm scared of it.
You got it. Oh. Okay, I have
Can
the
you show it
torch.
to me?
Let's have a look at it.
It's just so itty and so it's a bit to see.
Why are you so tiny? I'm tickling it. Tickle, tickle,
Also-
tickle.
Tarangerine,
What?
thank you very much for the egg.
What are you laughing at?
Nothing. Moment of truth.
That wasn't a joke.
I'm
I
sorry.
really was tickling it.
That sounds like a you problem.
Okay, can you so
Maybe-
be careful. Make sure that it snaps into
Oh,
place
okay, yes,
somewhere before
here.
you use it. Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Good,
there we go.
We did it.
It really did matter. Oh, scary magic ball.
That's a magic ball. We must put
Oh, I
things in
found a
there or
red
something.
I found a red skull.
So
Yo, awesome. What's up?
skeleton.
Yo, it's a
so
skeleton! Yay!
There's another. There's another.
This is really funny.
Thingy here. Why are
Really?
you
Thingy?
standing inside?
You'll take it to look.
Oh my god! Yes.
Oh, Jesus
POV,
Christ.
You are the skeleton.
POV, you are a skeleton.
You're a skeleton.
so-
You're fucked up.
Oh,
Why does it look like that?
I put
Whoa.
the thing in there.
What did you put in there?
There's another one that we need to
Ow.
find. Another crystal.
368. Where do we put it? Can we put a number in?
3, 6,
I don't know.
8. Oh,
Knock
what's up
over.
here?
I'm knocking this shit over.
Oh no!
Oh, a crystal.
Okay, I got
know
that,
where to
so-
put that, Zoe.
Yes, yes,
This
yes.
way.
I have a red skull. I don't know
You're
what to do
still
with it.
speed running for some reason.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, we
really
don't have to
funny.
do
We
it.
stuck it.
Because
We
now
just
we're
kind
just
of
like we gotta make
There
sure,
we
you know,
go.
we gotta make sure that we complete the
you put
game
it
fast
in?
before it fucks something else up.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah.
What did you do actually? I wasn't there.
I put a
put a
gem in a
crystal
thing
in
and
the
it
thingy.
made a jar with glows appear.
Yeah,
What,
glowing
did you take
glow.
the glowing glows?
No, we can't take the glowing glows. You
I think we
can't
just have
take
to
up light,
make-
you fool.
I think we
I'm
just have to appear make all
Okay,
the glowing
let's
glows.
floating
Oh,
here.
okay,
This is
wait.
so weird.
Someone go back
yeah.
to that case with the numbers.
Use-
368. 368. I remember
It's
it.
3,
3, 6, and 8.
6.
You're welcome.
What I said.
Thanks, Noodle. It didn't work.
You're so welcome.
What?
Well, you
It
might
didn't
have
work.
fucked it up.
Okay, 863. Try the reverse.
8, 6, 3. Nope.
Have you considered 6, 3, 8?
Were they like in a particular order if you're looking from the left to the right?
497.
Hold
Zoe?
on. Let me check.
Floor?
Have you tried 497?
Why?
Try it. 497.
Nope.
Oh, is
Nope.
it?
Okay, because there's like right above you it says 497.
Ah,
Oh,
it
so it
does.
does.
Ooh, I got tea leaves.
Well, put
I'm
those in
gonna
the
make
magic
some
bowl,
tea.
perhaps. For the
I've
weed,
got
it's weed
another-
for the mystic
I've got a
bowl.
couple
Why?
of bottles.
415, 451.
Thing ass thing floating here.
I'm picking up so many bottles, y'all.
Floating is. I put a
Dying to skulls,
in-
green.
Dying the skulls green. Okay, so red is
this-
complete.
This is an
And
interesting
bone
interaction
dust.
this ball is having with this skull.
And green tea leaves. Okay, so does anyone have
Huh.
bone?
I have a
We
skull.
have red
I
skull.
put it in a bowl. It's kind of.
Awesome. Well, let's
My skull!
grind it. What? You don't
No,
want to
because
stop-
the last step is add the skull, so that's what you do last.
I found a
Oh,
bone.
okay.
You'll never believe where I found it.
Was it at the skeleton?
Oh wow, good job.
Grind it up over here.
Taikaishi, thank you very much
And,
for following.
yeah,
There is a.
yeah,
Perhaps we
just
want to
grind
read
that
this
up.
book. Perhaps we want to read a book.
Sorry.
Why
What's
is
up?
that plant
No,
growing
no
out of
need.
this? This
I'm
plant
going
growing
to
out
make
of this.
some green.
This plant growing out of this book.
It's the
Bone
mystic weed.
dust, tea leaves, and skull. We need a proper like non-dyed skull.
Okay, but
Hold on,
the
let me see
exit.
if I can rip off the skeleton.
Do you guys want to hear lore/hints?
Yes. No.
Okay.
No hints.
Okay, thanks. The exit is locked by 3 enchanted keys. The skulls need to be dyed and then offered into the proper vase statues. This will yield an enchanted key that is a mix
I
between
found
the
out
color
how to
of
open
the
this door,
skull
I think.
and the vase.
Wait for Zoe. Wait for Zoe.
Thank you, please. Yes.
We are streaming.
I had just enough
Also,
time.
Come over here.
Can I
Go
keep
ahead,
going? Okay.
Yeah.
I had just enough time to dye the red and yellow skulls. I hid them amongst the maze. Also, to ensure no one escapes, I have made it impossible to place the skulls into the vases unless you possess a summoning key. This is my best puzzle to date.
Oh.
Alright, so the red
Down.
one was...
All right.
This way.
Look at this.
So,
hold on.
Look.
you'll never guess where these numbers have to go.
Oh my god, of course they do.
Wait, it's not 497. Okay, well let's try 497. Wait,
No.
Did I do it?
Yeah, 497, yeah.
then we'll try 497. What are these three numbers for then? This is wacky.
I put the skull in the
Something.
vase, but it
Also
doesn't
not.
work. It doesn't do anything.
This also didn't work.
No, but wait, did you just pick it up or no, you actually placed it, yeah.
Yeah, I guess just
Well,
leave it.
No, we
just...
need to do more. We need to do all of them, right?
Well, yeah, but I was thinking that we would get a key for each, but I guess not.
Okay.
Okay, so neither of these. Wait. Middle, top, bottom. Alright.
middle, top, bottom. What do you
Oh
mean?
yeah, it does just say it on the side.
Where?
On the side of the
there,
bookcase.
yeah.
There we go.
There we go. It did
Nice.
say stay out though. Are we really supposed
Yep.
to go in?
Hell yeah, fuck
Okay.
the rules.
Oh, okay, here's where the
Ooh,
skull.
door.
Scary
wow,
door. A skull.
And a notice. Note to self.
Notice.
Look above
you
the
are-
mountain to see the clue and add 222. P.S.
Aha.
Don't forget to fold the laundry.
I got it.
Find the. Find
Okay,
the
so-
three
I'm gonna
birds.
take some
6.
almonds.
619.
I got a skull.
Oh, you got a skull.
6.
It was literally
Oh, yeah,
next to the
yellow.
it was next to the almonds. I can't believe you didn't see
I
it.
found a yellow skull.
Well, we have the skulls, I guess.
Did it
wait,
do
we got-
anything?
wait,
Did you find?
a neutral.
Oh, do you need to dye that green? Just toss that in the cauldron, it will be fine.
6.
All right.
Wait, no, this would be 2.
Yay! Zoe, you
skull.
dyed the skull.
I
Oh,
did
green
it.
skull. God, shush.
Alright.
Which is 9 then? I don't think this does
where's the
anything.
green-
222.
Where's the
Look,
green pedestal?
so this is just 222, right?
Well, it's not 2 to 2, it's 496 plus 2 for each.
Oh, okay. Well,
So where's the green?
Or no, that's right,
Four.
497, sorry.
4, 9. Okay, so this is 1, and 7 is 9. 6,
Yep,
9.
and that's what I
6,
did, and it
1,
didn't seem to
9,
do
yeah.
anything.
Where's the?
So let's see. Look
this
above
is-
the mountain, and add 222.
I get. Do I just place the blue, the green skull on the blue
no.
thing?
Of course, it doesn't want you to add 222. It wants you to add 222. So, let me just do a little calculating. So this is
That
9,
makes more
that's all
sense.
right.
We are still keeping up one,
What
yes.
was it? Can you read it out? The one on top?
497.
497.
yeah.
So
It disappeared.
that does
Oh.
turn into this, and then this needs to be 8, right? No, wait, no. That needs to be.
I was glad someone else here can do math.
4. If it's 4, then it becomes a 6, and then it becomes a 7. Here we go. Got it.
Oh yeah,
Wee, wee,
whoa,
wee,
you
wee.
did.
Oh, hey, a bird.
Oh, a bird.
Oh,
Okay.
bird exploded.
Hey,
Where did
I know
it go?
I know what you're supposed to do with the almonds.
Oh, look.
Almonds?
No, it dropped a lock. I thought it dropped something, but
Anyway, I'm picking that up.
what you did?
Sorry,
what
no,
you
you're
got?
not.
Anyway, do you still have the almonds?
Yes, I do.
Maybe here.
Oh, just yeah. Bird.
There's a bird.
Oh, look
Bird.
at it.
And it died.
There we go.
Where did it go?
Oh, there was a funny little noise. A little.
Yeah.
Oh, something happened noise.
Yeah, this is green summoning key.
Green
Oh,
summoning
nice.
key. Okay.
You know?
And you've got the green skull.
don't
I'm
love
gonna go
math.
put the yellow skull over in the thing.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
a blue thing though. That's the confusing thing.
Okay,
it.
wait. Okay,
Oh,
so this one
shit.
did work.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
so we
one
got
did work.
we got a key for this one,
Is
but
the
not for the
other
red
blue?
one.
Maybe okay. What if I put the
If
red
the
one
other
in the
one
blue
is
one?
blue, let me just see if I can die.
Don't die.
gonna
We need
try-
you.
Well, that worked. Okay, the red one was in the blue. Oh, I got a purple key.
Oh, we're
the red
combining
one and the blue
colors.
one.
Duh. Okay, so where's the last skull?
I've got the last skull up. It's yellow.
Okay,
we
put it in
get-
here.
making
For orange,
Oh,
right?
you're
Because we need an
done.
orange key.
Yeah, we need an orange
Okay,
key.
and then you grab that key, and then we all have a key.
Yay!
Yay! Okay, everybody come
Alright.
together.
Let's put them in
All
at once.
together now.
Okay, I'm gonna count to
2,
3.
Oh, yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it together.
Jump scare time.
Jump scare. Oh no. Okay. Ooh.
Whoa.
Wow,
Okay.
we're back.
we're still not done.
Everything's
With
okay.
our
Oh, look,
this-
look, 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 look.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm
Go
gonna
upstairs,
hide
question mark?
underneath.
Episode finished!
Oh,
Yeah!
Fucking thing.
Episode finished. I love the
Wow.
camera. We're just in the background. You know what though?
Wait, can anyone like?
Episode
yeah,
finished.
Look at my feet. What am I
What's with your
doing?
feet?
What's wrong with my feet? Also, why is it twisting all the way now? Oh, there I
Episode
am.
finished.
Hi.
Next episode.
Wait. Do it again. Do episode finish again. Hi.
Oh, what? Whoops. Episode finished. I'm in the background. I'm all the way over here.
Do it again.
Episode. We fucking did it.
Uncomfortably close.
Where? Whoa, episode finished. I can't help but
Rick
notice that
Romo,
there
give it a
isn't.
big
There's.
thumbs up.
There's like we get. We just get a stay button. We don't get a leave button.
Yeah, no, you gotta go in the menu.
I think
Oh,
we're
yeah.
stuck here.
No, go in the menu.
No, we're stuck here.
I think we'll
We're
never
stuck
get
in the
out.
scary zone.
Yeah, we're stuck.
Okay.
Look,
To get
another
next to
bird.
a scare, turn up your FOV to max. Just
Yay!
for a
Oh, episode
Alright,
finished!
sweet.
Yay!
Put your FOV to max.
Eee.
Can I-
Oh my
right
god,
now?
this is awful indoors.
Wait, hold on.
Stop! I'm trying. Actually,
I'm trying to
What?
put my stop.
you're kicking us out of our menus.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Sorry.
Oh, this is awful.
Oh,
Put your FOV to max.
do it.
Oh, what? Okay, one moment.
Oh god, this is gonna
It's
give me
really
motion
awful.
sickness.
Oh, this is really
yeah,
bad.
it is. Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're in the scary away zone
Looking
now.
down is very funny though.
It makes me
Oh
feel
my
so
god!
fast.
Like, look, yeah,
Oh my
look
god,
down.
this room is so tall if you look up.
You are so tall.
We
when I
are
look
so
down.
tall.
Okay, what about minimum FOV? Oh my god, this is somehow worse.
If you crouch and look up while you've got maximum
Minimum.
FOV, everyone looks
Zoe,
like a
I'm looking at your face and you are all I can see when I have minimum FOV.
Yup. Hello.
You have like.
Hey,
You have beautiful
and then press
eyes.
middle mouse button.
Oh! Wait, what happens if you zoom on maximum FOV?
Oh my god.
Oh, that's kind of normal. It's normal FOV again, almost.
Yeah, that's like
good.
normal.
That's good. Let me just.
The ceiling is so tall if you look up.
God, I'm gonna put it back to 90. 90.
Nani?
90.
Nani?
Woo!
Stop! I'm in my
Episode
menu.
finished.
I put it
I
in
love
fun.
looking
Need
from
when I
up to
finish the
down with the
episode.
FOV max ad.
I can't even activate the what?
Stop.
Episode finished.
Anyway, 90. Gang, we are still kidnapped. This is no time to be funny. Except it is because we're on stream.
Let's go be kidnapped part 2.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go Hawaii part 2.
This is
I
what
love
happens
that
when you
album.
break your glasses and you
good
have to use an
album.
old
It's
prescription.
one of my favorites.
I think part
Only-
2 is the best one because they have the really good cover of I Need a Hero.
What?
I need a hero. I need a...
Yeah, you nailed it.
He's
I
gotta
don't think
be
that's in.
strong.
I don't think that's in that album.
No, it is.
Album.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's what we were talking about.
No,
Hawaii
we're talking about a
Part Two.
movie.
We were not talking about the movie.
Yeah, we weren't talking about a movie.
Oh.
We are different.
We are different.
Well, fuck you.
Also, actually, this might be a good time to do a break.
Oh, yeah, because it's almost time for
it's
me.
almost 9.
In between
Someone did
maps,
mention.
and then it's
Whoa,
also,
you guys. Whoa. You
we're
guys were
fused
like.
right now.
Yeah, you were fused for a
Yeah, right
moment.
now we're unfused. Good job.
That's scary.
Damn it, now you will not be as powerful.
God damn it! You fucked
I'll
up the
just
dance. You
fuse with
fucked up
you.
the
I'll be
fusion
more
dance.
powerful.
You
Well,
fucked
anyway,
up
I
the
guess-
fusion dance.
I guess we'll take a little break instead. Can you stop being like so uppity?
Alright.
Uppity?
Making me uncomfortable,
Uppity.
up in my space. Stop.
Sorry.
Stop.
I'm in this corner. What do you want from me?
You were walking towards me. Stop! 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 Stop!
Sorry, I can't see where I'm going. I'm going backwards.
I'll just go do a little bit of a
Little Blair Witching, yeah.
Blair Witch, yeah. What?
I'm
Okay, Michael.
It's so wonderful how we can just make our own fun, you know?
Yeah, it's great.
Humans are special like that, and so are many animals, actually. Yeah.
They are. One of my favorite videos I've seen is just a crow having found like a lid and it being like, I'm getting on this roof and I'm gonna sled down it over and over.
Yeah.
And like, it's so cute. It's like clearly it has a concept of fun because it's doing this for no reason just besides doing it.
Yeah,
No, it's
right?
called playing, and many do it.
It's
It's
Coldplay,
really fun.
and many people listen to it.
I know like a few songs.
I know
Well,
the one that goes like do 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 do.
Which one's that?
That reminded me more of Doom than Coldplay. I'm gonna be honest.
Well,
Yeah, actually.
it is a Coldplay song. Do 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 do.
Okay, alright.
I used to rule the world.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it's a song from Coldplay. Trust me.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. It's Viva La Vida.
Yeah.
Did you know that I didn't know
Why-
that was
are
not a
you looking
Minecraft
at
song?
me? Oh,
I did know that, and
Yeah.
and whenever someone tells me that, a little part of me dies. No, just
I
kidding.
didn't know. I didn't know.
I like to pretend I'm more upset about Minecraft parodies than I am.
I thought Fallen Kingdom was quite nice. I thought the music was very good, but I guess
My
that's just because
genuine-
it's.
yeah, wait until you hear Coldplay's version of it.
Yeah, it's, you can wait till you hear their cover.
That's like Nine Inch Nails' cover of Hurt.
Yes. But
You do know that in this scenario you've created, that means that like the one we're all thinking of is the Minecraft version then.
yes.
Yes.
Johnny Cash, the Minecraft musician.
Yes. I
don't know where you get it from, but yeah.
But no, my real main issue with Minecraft parodies and most parody songs.
Today I didn't check for creepers.
But no, that's my issue. It's not just Minecraft parodies. This is an issue with most parody versions of songs. They just replace words instead of actually rewriting the lyrics.
It's
Yeah.
not like it's
And
not
I'm just like,
it's not Weird Al.
it's not Weird Al who just can create a whole fucking story in his new
Oh my
version.
god, when is
Yeah.
Weird Al making a Minecraft parody? Please.
When is he? It feels
Please.
like he would enjoy that.
Please, Weird, please.
Please, Mr.
When are they gonna put the,
No,
the
Mr.
accordion
Weird is
block
my
in so we
dad.
can do it?
Call me Al.
Come here, Al.
I thought Al was his last name.
Ah, yes! You can
Weird
pitch
Al.
Al
It's
Weird.
actually, it's his middle name.
Oh, wait, his middle name starts with an L. Now I get it.
No, it's
His
just
grandpa
Al.
was
That's just his
weirder.
middle name.
His grandpa was
His
Weird
first
Al,
name is
yeah.
Weird. His middle name is Al, and his last name is
It's
Beethoven.
Yankovic. Oh.
Weird Al Beethoven.
Weird Al Beethoven.
What an alternate universe you
He's
create.
that's right. He is Beethoven's son.
Ooh.
He also composes by biting on a piece of metal.
Also, by the way, here's a fun little tip we got from these mod creators. Use light switches to see better in the dark.
Oh fuck! No way!
Could have never thought of that
Tips
one
that I
myself.
see when I like enter or exit a building and I get a loading screen in real life.
Tips I see when I close my eyes.
Yeah. Weird Al could have
Why
solved the
did you-
Kira case.
Did he?
Agreed.
He could have, but he would have to write a song up for it to do it.
Yeah, but he could have. And he would have.
I saw tweet like Phoenix Wright trying to see if it's trying to like I know he did, but like what if you used magic and like yeah and he goes what did you say?
To the Joker, he's normal Al.
Well, it's time for the
There we
break
go.
now.
There we go. We're waiting for that. It sounds okay. That's Discord is fucking up in such a weird way. Is that it's speeding you up, and I'm only noticing now because of the song being faster than it should be.
You're right.
That is very weird.
So your Discord on your end is so fucked up right now, I guess, that it's speeding you up slightly. Then that's why you've been choppy as well. It's because it just resets. That's
That
so
is
fucking weird.
I think it should not
Very
do
odd.
that. I wish
Because
Discord wasn't such a broken fucking mess.
So how the song went for me was
exactly.
like that's way too
weird.
fast.
How very strange and curious and such.
Yeah.
It's like
If only it could go
was like
even
10%
faster, we will
faster
get,
and it was
like-
weird.
We'll get a Nyko version.
Well, I'm sure you can find that. And if
Billy and
not,
the
then you can make it.
Chipmunks.
Anyway, it is time. It is 9 p.m., so it's time for me to do my break. As I'll tell all of us to do my break. We all do it together. I will be doing my estrogel during this break. Everybody, if you have any medicine that you
I will
have
be breaking.
to take, please remember to do
I
so.
will be eating some chips.
I will
That's
be
nice.
breaking.
Oh, that's
I will not survive.
Luke after not surviving. Remember to stay hydrated and get some snackies and stretch your leggies and such. And we'll be back and actually play the next map because obviously we were just kind of stalling before the alarm. I probably should have specified that.
Will we?
Yes.
Maybe you can restart Discord completely. Maybe we should all restart Discord completely. Maybe that'll help somehow because you're just slowly getting worse throughout the stream.
Yeah.
Sure, let's give it a try.
Like it's getting to the point where your sounds are like 60% crackle.
Is that why you guys
Yeah.
just kept ignoring me the whole time? Well,
Sometimes
a lot
I
of
just
the
don't
time
understand
anyway.
what you're. Sometimes I don't know what you're saying, but also I'm just fucking around and trying to think about puzzles.
That
Right,
is
okay.
also very true.
All right, okay. Anyway, we're gonna take a break now. So, see you guys soon.
See you soon.
See ya.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, we live?
Yeah, of course.
Hell yeah. Hi.
Hi. Hello, everyone. We're back from the break. Tell me,
from
is
the
my audio
dead.
any better, Liv? I mean,
No.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Well, then I don't know what to do about that. Does anyone in chat know this problem?
I mean, it's not unworkable for me.
I mean, there were. Is it as bad as it was before? Because there were plenty of times when I
It
was.
was just as bad as before, yeah.
Well, then it is unworkable because I kept saying things and you guys just ignored me.
That might also just have been us being completely like lost in the sauce with all the sick puzzles.
Perhaps.
Yeah,
I know it's not showing
if
up
I
on
don't
stream,
know-
but I figured maybe someone knows this issue from their own experience and knows how to solve it, you know?
True. Yeah, that would be nice.
Also, hello, Luke.
The only
Welcome
thing
back.
left is hello. Only thing left is a whole computer restart, but that's not a really good option right now.
Nope, because then
Yeah.
the entire stream gets
And
stopped.
we can't do that.
Nope. It wouldn't be that big an issue, but then the fucking VOD gets cut in two, and my computer for some reason can't fucking handle stitching two VODs together. So then I need to get a third party involved to put them together and then send it back to me, and it's all
Yeah,
fucking pain in the
sucks.
ass and stuff. So if I don't have to do that, then I
sounds
prefer
like
not to do it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's a shame then, but I guess we'll just have to continue on as is, and please ask me to repeat things if you can't hear what I'm saying.
Well,
you got it.
I also don't know the difference between. I might not hear the difference between you talking to yourself or stream or me or live.
Yeah, but then you should ask me. Because you shouldn't just assume then that I might not be talking to you when I am. You know.
No, the way my brain works is if I don't feel like someone's talking to me, I just don't properly recognize I'm being talked. Something is being said.
Well, we'll just have
I'll
to
try, but-
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Also, wait, how did I get here? Thank you very much for the egg.
Egg.
Yeah, I really don't know what else we could possibly do about it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's not unworkable.
But I mean, sometimes it is.
I
Clearly.
don't
No,
know if
I
that's-
definitely don't think that that we didn't listen to what you were saying because of the glitching. That no, it was totally just us being distracted by all the other things. Because
Okay.
you aren't cutting out, you just crackle.
Yeah, it's just crackle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you don't have noise suppression on.
Let me see. Pause the video.
I doubt that's the issue.
Well, no,
I do not have it on. I have gain control on. Hints to your running out of package. When it's been what others. Audio subsystem. Yeah, I don't think so.
Egg.
Don't think there's anything here. Galava Streams, thank you very much for your egg as well.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, let's just do part 2.
Yeah.
And hope that we
Let's
don't
go.
get. And hope that we don't get
Spooked.
locked up again by a bug. Hello.
Hello.
I mean, I would hope I get spooked. Or the
I hope
horror
to get
game.
spooked. That's the point. So, if you are just joining us, we are playing Escape Simulator, which is like if escape rooms were a video game. Crazy concept.
Very scary.
I understand if it takes you a while to really like get your head around that, but it has been very cool so far. We did actually 2 official maps, but one was the tutorial, so it doesn't really count. We did 1 official spooky themed map, and then we did part 1 of a very cool community made spooky map, and now we're gonna do part 2. Let's go.
Just in the options, it says voice chat. I wonder if that's based on if it's like how other games do it.
Ooh. If it's like,
How do you
Positional.
fucking- positional. Yeah, positional.
yeah.
Let's try it out.
What if that? What if you don't
Okay.
crackle in game?
Look,
Hello.
can you mute yourself and in Discord and turn that on?
All right. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Wait, well,
you
he
don't
can't
crackle
hear
in
us
game.
now
Yeah, it's-
because he
so-
turned on.
Right. Okay, but how
Great.
do you do it? Hold on. I think I'm talking.
You
Am I
are
talking in
I
game?
hear you.
Yeah, I am.
Yes, you are. I don't hear Liv.
No, Liv, you're not. You
Liv,
need
you
to
don't
turn
have it
your thing on.
Hello.
There you
There
go.
you are. Okay.
Well, it doesn't have the crackle anymore.
it doesn't have
okay.
to crackle. Do I get
It also has the
louder,
fucking
like
annoying.
closer or not?
No,
Yeah, I get a
it
lot of
doesn't.
echo
Let me
from
turn off
from,
those
from Liv,
voice
from Noodle.
chat indicators because I do recognize your voices. I don't need a little thing in the top left.
I've never. I
I'll
can
leave it
never
on for chat,
differentiate anyone.
I'll leave it on for chat,
What
even
did
though
you
they
say?
can't even see Luke's icon because of the eggs.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
I hear buried in egg.
Wait, oh my god, it doesn't have noise suppression now, so
No,
we
it
can
doesn't.
hear whatever bag you're rustling.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Well, I'm glad I finished my crisps.
I'll put it away.
Oh my god,
It's not even that close to the mic. Is it that loud?
it is very audible.
It's
I
fine.
did it like a meter away from the mic.
It's
This
okay,
is
but
the-
let's get
this-
going.
It's bad Foley work, dude. It's just bad Foley work.
So are you ready to get started?
Yes, I am.
You managed to escape. You managed to escape the Captor's basement, but now you find yourself. Ow. But now you find yourself in an even more perplexing situation. It has gone from bad to worse. Now you must work to solve more puzzles in an attempt to escape the house for good.
Yeah.
Wow, very spooky.
Ooh.
I wish I could press a button, but there's some dipshit in the way.
Press. I did it. Huh? Yeah, there we go.
Wow. All
I
right.
pressed my belly button and now we're in.
This is immediately
Alright.
an incredibly
Oh, what's this
wild
say?
layout.
Who keeps
Lock.
touching my key painting?
I found a lock
Oh,
painting.
that's my spaghetti.
Who
Remember
touching
that meme?
my locker painting?
Okay,
this
so
is
that's
a
where
cat
the cool
painting.
painting goes. So I'm assuming that's where the lock painting goes.
I found
Oh,
a
wow.
cat painting. Ow.
And now it's mine.
Oi!
Look up. Look up.
Look up. There's
Look
a
up.
door.
Look up.
Look up.
Look up. Shoesies. Doorsies.
Oh my god, it's a.
Meisje met de paal.
I found
Oh,
newspapers and I found beer and I found a plate of spaghetti. I'm ready to
Hold
just
on.
be
Okay.
a dad.
This is so weird to just like see a very normal kitchen. Ow.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? I'm stealing
Horse.
all of the things.
Acquire horse. Butterfly.
Inspect
Acquire
bear.
butterfly.
Send email to Windmill. Call John. Pick up new dress. Call John tomorrow. 2 p.m.
Let me just put this away. Here we
Dash
go.
58422192.
Acquire milk.
Do we have a phone?
Acquire with the
Maybe you can,
these
maybe you can call
jars.
that phone number. Oh yeah, pizza.
Just
It's a
right
pizza.
in the fridge, huh?
Yep. Also, there is a lock down here. That. Oh my God! Why
Oh.
do you?
I found
Okay,
a knight.
you don't like. Do you see this lock
Oh.
down here? What, like we don't like get
Yeah,
like
what
we
about
don't
it?
we just have to
like
like
pull
we
it.
don't
Yeah.
what is it like it doesn't zoom in on the lock, you know? Like previously.
weird.
Middle mouse will help you there.
I know,
Also,
but I'm
found
saying like previously in all the other maps we've played, when there was a lock like this, it would zoom
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, Oblivion.
It's weird.
I found a white knight in the oven.
We need a key.
Like a chess piece?
Yeah, like a chess piece. No, like an actual.
I don't know,
man
maybe you
who
meant like a
was
figure or
designing that.
something. I don't know.
Also, I found a book
No,
with
it's
a
Taskin.
4 on the cover.
Liv just found a Redditor.
Yeah. I found a beer can and it just says trash as the description. It's a rattler.
I have a rag, I have a pizza box, and I have a painting of a cat
Awesome.
I found.
Okay, you know what I'm just gonna do? I am going to have myself a nice little meal.
Oh, hey, a
Here
book and a
we
painting.
go. Yum yum.
I found a book.
You know what?
Painting.
I'll put a nice little
It's a
flower
painting
next
of-
to it.
I think it's a bee. Hold on. So can you look at this? You need to look at the quality.
What?
It's interesting.
That's an
Oh,
art
it's
style.
beautiful. What's
Ow.
behind it?
Should've put a
Pixels.
padlock
Hi
on the whole
Zoe.
thing.
Hi.
Hi, Noodle.
Hi.
Yeah, like, why are you only putting a padlock on the freezer part, you know? If you're gonna go through the trouble, just
Because
put in
you
everything.
don't want anyone to eat your ice cream. Oh, what's
true.
it? Ah!
What?
Skeletons!
Skullsies!
Skulls!
Oh,
Alright,
and
we
Lego
got-
bricks beneath.
Red,
Wow.
blue, and yellow.
And that's the scariest part of all. Don't you think just letting these perfectly good Lego pieces lie out in the mud?
Seriously, that is the real scares here.
Well, you think
I
that's
think
scary?
that's an illegal build.
You think that's scary? Just
Hey.
look at this plate of spaghetti.
Somebody
isn't it
touching my
beautiful?
spaghetti.
Ah!
It's the meme
Isn't it
again.
disgusting? It looks so bad.
It looks
Let me have a
pretty
look at it.
weird, yeah.
Right?
I-
Oh wait, let me
don't
show
love
it to
it.
you. Oh god!
Thank you.
I dropped my spaghetti! No!
Oh,
Give
you're
me my
touching your
spaghetti
spaghetti!
back!
Oh!
I'm a toucher
Give me my
of
spaghetti back!
Go skeleton jump scare.
No! Oh,
Okay,
no,
hold on
I'll
a
trade
second.
you! I'll trade you! I'll trade you!
I don't have it.
Ah! I got my
happening?
spaghetti back.
Oh, okay. I found an OCD note on the table. That's literally what it's called.
Do you know what
Awesome.
does it say?
OCD. Everything must always be perfect. I must always fluff my pillow, or else I cannot sleep. I refuse to drink water if it's old. The volume on my
This is
well,
fair.
actually, that's just smart.
That's just
Yeah, that's
smart,
fair.
yeah.
Still
Don't
water
drink
breeds
nasty
bugs,
bacteria
dude.
water.
Yeah.
The volume on my TV or phone must always be an even number. I must always order everything alphabetically. If there's a number, then I order it numerically. I hate my brain sometimes. That's fair.
That is, yeah. Oh my god.
I don't know if that's relevant to the puzzle. I think it's just the author
Oh, it
just
definitely is.
no.
Oh,
I
it's
think it's just the
Gavin
author like you know
Also-
voicing some
I
frustration.
found a 1955 what Paiwak red wine. I don't
Yum! That actually goes
Nice.
real well with my spaghetti. Please.
You're right. There you go.
Ah, bone at the
Yummy,
teeth,
yummy.
everyone. Bone,
Alright.
like the
Nom.
skulls. I get
Nom.
it.
I found,
Anyway,
by the way, there's dirty dishes in
Oh.
the sink.
Well, let me just grab those. Also
Grab the
this,
dish.
also this, also this. Oh wait, you wanted that dish? Here you go.
No, I have a dish.
You
But
can have
also,
the
don't
other
worry,
one as
Chad.
well.
My water
Okay,
was
okay,
fresh.
let's trade. There we go.
Okay, okay.
Trade it.
Cool.
We're doing great.
Okay, so
Hey,
anyway,
look.
should we?
Put your hands up. I'm coming for you.
Okay, we have. Okay, hold on. We have these paintings.
Do you have a key painting?
No, I have a butterfly and a horse. Neither of them seem to have numbers on them,
Horse.
but
Check the cat painting.
but
Nope.
you can hang paintings on the wall here.
Oh!
So we should hang them in a certain
Ooh.
order.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do
Well,
it in
alphabetically,
size.
of course.
Maybe that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably makes.
Oh, wait, you did
no, I
it.
did it. I did it.
did
I'm
it.
so
Yeah,
good
you
at
did
things.
it. BCH.
Oh, I just happened to do your thing also.
Oh my
nice.
god.
Yeah.
You can pick up almost everything here. This sucks.
And you know it that I will.
We gotta. Quick picture.
Oh
Yep,
my god,
absolutely.
my fucking bar is insane right now.
Yep.
Same.
It's literally all the way, like literally everything is covered. I can scroll outside my window.
I can't go quite outside just yet. Okay, wait,
Alright,
hold on.
so I
So
found
what
a
is in
ball.
here?
Just so what did we? pick up? What was the point?
Everything. We
Everything?
might not. We shouldn't have maybe.
Maybe not.
Baked beans by Pine Restaurant. I got 5 of those.
I got a big. Wait, you know what? We'll just
got
put
a-
everything over here. All right.
Sure.
You know what? Let's put it on the table.
I got a water bottle. I got a beer. A 1973 Pinot Noir.
Uh-huh.
A beer. A bottle. A flask.
I found this
a
fucking
flask,
huge-ass
a
jar.
flask, a bottle.
Red wine.
A bottle. A pitcher. A flask. A bottle. Flask. Flask. Bottle. That's it.
Awesome.
Hold on, we're running out of space.
This is so dumb. We're gonna bankrupt these people. Yeah. Well, hey, they fucking kidnapped us and shut
We're
them
not
off, shut them down in the
bankrupting
basement.
anyone.
No, we are. This is a
just-
business.
Let me have a look at this book. Maybe you can open it. No.
Right, we can inspect things.
Yes.
Let me inspect the flowers that I found.
Oh fuck.
There's nothing. There's just tulips. Here you go.
Hold on, let me throw this at the table.
Wait, you can throw things?
Yeah, if you hold them
left
down.
mouse.
No way. I'm gonna throw this knife at your face, Zoe.
Not if I throw this thing.
Open your mouth.
Ow. Oh.
We're doing
I missed.
terrible.
I'm gonna throw
your
a fork.
turn.
Open
Your
your
turn.
mouth. Okay, at the same
Oh,
time.
hey, the light. That's nice.
Hold on, I'm gonna try to find all the light switches.
Yeah, right. Light switches.
I think I found all the light switches.
It did tell us about that.
Nosferatu. Wait, didn't we?
Dog bowl
did we
full of
come out of
wasabi,
this
that's my
hall?
favorite.
Oh, we came out of this hall.
Leopoldius, thank you
this
very
one was
much for
confusing
your
me.
egg.
Like, I don't know what we're
Thank you.
supposed to do here.
We're supposed to. Okay, so we're supposed to find a key painting.
Yes.
Also, there's a latch up here that is locked.
A latch? Oh yeah, it says.
Yeah.
But what was the point of opening this storeroom? There has to be something
Well,
here.
I think there might have been something in there, but we picked up everything and didn't really pay attention to what.
I mean, this Red Island gin here, this big blue bottle, is the only thing that sort of. Wait, this is a. Okay, this one is a key item. It says so. It has a key item next to it, or a key icon.
Oh, the ones
okay.
that are properly named. Probably.
Oh, okay. So let's see. That's a bottle.
another
That's a
one.
beer. Red wine. There's nothing on there.
Okay, so I have.
Wait, of course, it has a
Oh
number.
my god! You broke
Wait.
it. You broke the vase.
Awesome!
that sounds like
Great job.
you problem.
Okay, hold on. The
Well,
key
now we've
item
got
is an
soil.
1897 Red Island gin, so that's 4 numbers.
Try
So-
that. Let's just try all the numbers, yeah.
1.
Hey Luke,
Hi.
be
What
my
was the rest?
Valentine.
Of course.
7.
Thank you.
Throw a fucking flower in your face.
Be my
Did it work?
Valentine. I think it did.
I don't think it did. 18.
another
Wait, did I do it
nice.
right? 1897. I definitely got
nice.
it.
You want to try 1973?
1970. They're having fun. 3.
We are.
Nope, that doesn't work
Throwing
either.
stuff.
You want to try 1955?
1955.
Liv, you
What
got
about
anything?
1984?
Is that a number that you have from the game or
No, that's a book.
1984?
Liv, I'm gonna throw this at you.
That does not work. I'm so sorry. I thought it would.
Dang.
It's literally not 1984. Is the
Wait a
problem about
minute.
it?
What about the skulls and the scary skulls?
The skulls.
And the
They tell me
Lego.
nothing.
Wait,
I don't think we
the
need these yet.
colours.
You're right.
What
Yeah.
does that say? Pine.
Hold on, let me-
Okay, this is a this item is
work.
just copied from the demo or from the tutorial. I
Yeah,
will
I-
say.
What?
So I don't know if that's
What
relevant.
is this sign?
Yeah, this
a noteboard thing.
this corkboard thingy.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna
I have this-
start throwing bottles.
I have this rag that's a key item. What do I do with it?
Clean something.
Keep it with you.
Clean some. Oh my god. Try and clean some.
Is any
I'm gonna be
other
honest, this-
wine?
It's really vague what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, this one's not as good as the first one, which I guess makes sense because the first one was a remake of the original.
Yeah,
I
I think
guess.
they might have made the puzzles better.
Yeah, I think they might have.
I'm just gonna. I'm
I
just
can't
gonna
even-
keep
okay.
throwing things until I understand it.
Keeps touching my key painting. Alright, where the fuck is a key painting?
You can use the rag to clean the fucking dishes you've let pile up in the sink.
Wait, actually you can, right, you can combine items with things. Oh no, I can't. I can't clean the dirty plates.
Damn.
Oh my god, you fucking animal throwing all this garbage everywhere.
It's. I'm just upset.
I can
Me
tell.
too.
I'm upset that I don't get it.
Me
You're-
too.
you're-
Milk.
Right?
Milk.
I'm gonna be honest, you're being upsetting.
Milk.
Milk?
Milk.
Wait,
That's
I've
your
got
milk.
another jar right here. Jar of peanut butter. Nice. Here
Oh.
you go.
Yay! Awesome.
Oh,
Dude, check
also,
it out.
I found a book. I found. Thank you. I found book 4.
I
Oh.
have just book.
Okay, well, book 4 has a key thing next to it. Does book also have it? Oh, and I found
Yeah, no,
newspapers.
book-
Let me read
book-
those.
Book doesn't
It's
have anything
bad.
next to it. I swear to god, if you had the newspapers this whole time.
No, there was nothing special on them.
Are you sure?
Alright.
They weren't a key item.
The book wasn't a key item either.
Well, mine is book 4. So,
Yeah, but the
oh,
key
wait
item
a
is this
minute.
book.
There's books here, but it doesn't snap.
You know, it's that's just a full different object.
What if it's just 444?
I don't know. You can the four. That's not enough
I
numbers.
don't know why it would, but sure.
And another 4.
And another 4. There you go, bud.
All right, this sucks right now. Like, what
yeah,
do we
I'm
do?
not loving this. I gotta
Gang,
say.
I did it!
Did you
I
really?
put in 444. It didn't open, but I did
That's what
do
I
what I
fucking
set
thought.
out to do.
No! No, you fucking pizza
What?
box.
Don't hurt me, I've got a plate of spaghetti.
What do we actually do?
I
Well,
don't
there's
know.
this thing here, like maybe find a crowbar could also help.
Yeah, I've been trying to interact with anything I can find.
You've been looking for crowbars specifically?
I get no.
What if I wait a minute? Can I open book 4? No, I can't.
Hey,
I can just
you
look
put
at
the
it.
plate? Is the plate of spaghetti and a key item?
No, it isn't. But I
God
am
damn
keeping it. Try and fucking stop me.
I can't.
I know
would
you.
never dare.
I've been seeing you. You've been eyeing my spaghetti.
I like spaghetti.
You've been
what
wanting
can
to
I
touch
say?
their spaghetti.
Of course.
Yeah, ever since
Spaghetti.
you first laid eyes on it. You know what? I'm gonna put my spaghetti in the oven,
there be
and
something
it better
else with-
be there when I come back.
Maybe there are multiple combinations we can make with the paint.
Oh, there's a key.
You can try
What?
that. But
There's a,
it's alright.
It's fucking like key notepad here. What? A little like a
I know.
little yellow thingy. Why?
But
I
it's-
know, but we don't know
like-
what to do.
Alright, it's nice and warm now.
Okay, they were talking about numerical. Hold on.
Yeah.
What?
But if there was a 4, if there was a number, it needed to be numerical. They said, yeah.
Yeah. So
Wait, okay.
how
I've
got a
many
number
named
book.
wines do we have?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Well, let's pick them up.
I have. You weren't
I
already
have
holding
none.
them?
No, I didn't have any.
You.
I think there was only one. I think that I thought all of
There are
these
at
things
least
here.
2.
All of these things that I threw to the ground were not key items.
Okay.
We had.
Look, do you have any wine?
No, I put the ones I had on the table.
Well, yeah, but none of those were
Oh, yeah,
key
they're already
items,
there.
and none of them had numbers.
No, these two are
They're
literally
already
key
on. They're
items.
still on the
Oh,
table.
those.
Okay, so we
There
have
you
3 of
go,
them.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's try them all out.
No, we did.
We
we
already
did,
tried all of
okay.
these, but if we have a 4th one,
Okay.
then we can do something with that. We can do the last numbers or something. I don't know.
Can I open this? No.
I'm picking up this one. It's nothing.
So, this is so
These numbers
unclear.
are numerical. Sadly, that is the nature of numbers.
Yeah. Have you considered this?
What?
I threw a book at you.
I did not consider that. I considered it so little that I didn't even realize that you did that.
Yeah.
Warning, keep out. I would love to keep in.
Okay, Zoe, what if
Yes.
you pick up the spaghetti? And just
I
keep
pick-
that with you. Hold it safe, close to your heart.
Okay, ow. I will do
Been
so.
distracting me.
Oh, so that's what it's like when you throw a book at someone, I see now. Thank you, Chet.
The hell the Skelly's doing?
I don't know, can we do... Is there anything we can do with colors?
Are these like, yeah, no.
Man, thank God we don't have a timer for this one.
Yeah, we would have lost.
Uh-huh.
Let me just press the hint button. Oh wait, there's none.
They didn't put one in. Should I maybe look on the Steam page?
Maybe. What does chat think?
Chad, do you think we should look at the Steam page?
How do you sort? What will help? How will sorting these numerically help with? It's like I'm like it won't. Okay, there we go. Big, medium, small. Right. Let's just-
Okay. Yeah, you said it.
You're right.
And then maybe you can like...
What the fuck did you just throw
What
a
if-
pile of shit on the table?
I just
What the hell?
threw dirt
What
at
about
you.
doing a math and combining all the numbers together?
Hold on, I'm
Go
gonna.
right ahead, Zoe.
I'm busting out the calculator. I'm just skipping. Okay, 1897 plus 1955 plus what's the last one? Oops. 1973. All right. No, I'm trying to up tab. How I forgot what the number was. There we go. Well, try 5825, I guess.
5,
If that works, I'm gonna be a little
8.
annoyed because that'd be really stupid if that's the answer.
2, 5.
Well, I'm almost glad that's not
Nah,
the answer,
it
'cause it'd
don't.
be
I don't know,
really
I just
stupid.
preferred it to have hearts because then we could...
I've got a 4
What?
You.
in my book. The book has a 4. So maybe, so if we need to do this numerically, right now you've got like the lowest number on the left, right?
Yes.
Let's look at the okay, so what if we do 3, 4, 5, 7?
I don't know.
3?
Alright. 3, 4, 5, 7. No.
Fuck, dude.
This is bad.
2, 5,
Let
5,
me put the
8.
book here so that we remember
I'll
that
try
it's
it.
also part of it. Boom.
2.
What's this stove? What was the oven?
There was a knight in there.
What? Where's the knight?
I've got it.
What, let's put it on the table. Well, let me have a look at it.
Is it a key?
It's a key
Oh, right.
item. It's just the white knight.
Hi, Luke.
Hi. Huh. Okay.
Hi. Oh, I'm
Hello.
giving the horsey little horsey pets. Ah, no! Oh, it didn't like it. It didn't like it. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on the storm
Do you
page.
still have the plate of spaghetti?
Naturally.
Can you put it on the table?
Fair enough. Okay, sure.
Oh, you knocked everything over,
I'm
Zoe.
sorry. I didn't mean to. It's, I don't know, stuff just happens, you know?
I know. This isn't your fault. I'm just a bit upset.
Yeah, I'm also a bit upsetty, I will say.
So that's why I have this plate
Wait.
spaghetti.
Well, okay. So, oh, there's not even. Never mind. There's
When
no,
you're upsetty, just have some spaghetti.
Have plate spaghetti.
Have plates of spaghetti.
Mom.
Alright.
No, it doesn't
kidnap
even
part
say
2.
off, it just says plate spaghetti.
Okay, there's a
Mom
YouTube walkthrough of the
spaghetti.
map. Let me have a look.
Just
Okay.
mute it just in case it talks about something later or something.
Sure.
Yeah. What's up, gamer guys?
What's up,
Here's
gamers?
a
I'm
spoiler
fucking
for the end of the
scared.
video.
What's up, gamer guys?
Okay,
Hi,
what's in
it's your boy,
the-
Puzzlemeister 5000.
Reads that. Blah blah.
I'm gonna throw everything up there.
Gets a painting.
Ah, dang it.
Gets a pet cat painting.
There we go.
Gets the OCD node. Reads the OCD node.
They're they're not okay. They're not disappearing, but
They're not disappearing.
Takes the other paintings.
some of them are, I think, actually.
Does nothing for a bit. Puts them in the order that we put them in. The storeroom opens. They grab the 1897 gin. They. Oh!
What?
Okay, look over here.
Oh! Alright, well.
That's
Aww.
Alright, I'm grabbing the other, like, important clue thingies so that we don't.
I think
lose
this
them.
is right.
I
It's
think I did
alright,
wrong.
Oliver.
Hold on a second.
No, it isn't.
This one here. This one here and that one there. There we go, Blood Noise.
Yay!
Finally!
That's it.
key.
I kept
I
seeing
never
these
noticed
things.
those spots.
I kept seeing them and thinking that they were just like saucers that were just on there that we couldn't move for some reason.
I've
noticed
never seen them. Okay,
See,
let's
this is the
try
problem
the
because
key on
the
places.
game is already so vague about what things you can and can't pick up, you know?
Yeah.
All right, I can open
Well, I
this.
think we found all the
door.
places that we could pick up.
Oh,
this
it's a
painting is
scary
wow.
painting. Ooh, what if Abraham Lincoln was a scary guy?
That's not Abraham Lincoln.
I mean, someone else. I forgot
George
his name.
Washington.
That's the one.
Red,
Let me turn on the lights for you.
red key card required for entry. I found behind these books.
Why
Oh,
is
sick.
this? Why is this series so vague? Like so wishy-washy
Ooh,
with
I
whether or
found
not it's like
trophies.
dark fantasy or sci-fi or like sci-fi?
I found book
Trophy
7.
ones.
Oh, here's some other, like, okay, so there's other chess pieces here, but they aren't key. Wait, the king is a key item,
The hell?
so I'm picking up that one.
These I found 2 chess pieces that aren't key items.
Gang, hold on a
Yes,
second.
we don't need them.
Can I hold on a second?
Yes.
Can I ask your
Yeah.
opinion on this little music box here? Does this look weird to you?
What the hell? Why is it squished?
Yeah, right. Why is it like
Oh,
skewed
What?
like that?
That
It's
only looks correct from a
cute.
single angle.
yeah.
That is
I found-
weird.
Isn't that lovely? Oh, a book
I hope that's
order.
on purpose, but it's probably not. But you never know.
Probably not.
So, I found a page with the book orders. Please order my books properly. Place the
No.
books numerically from lowest to highest. Although, if the number is even, it should be placed on shelf first. If the number is odd, then it will come after the even numbers. Example 288, 937. So we've got a 4 right here,
And book
which
7
needs to
next.
come first. So we've got 7. So right now 7 and 19 are in the wrong spot. How many books do y'all have?
Yo,
The-
Spades
the-
Queen. That's a valid name.
You have,
I found
you have all the,
a Queen of Spades card.
Okay,
you have
I've
all,
got.
you have all the books I have. I have nothing else.
I have
okay,
26.
I've got 4. You've got 26?
Yes.
Okay, you put it right next to
That's a lot
the
of books.
4. There's quite a big space between them, but it's closer to the 4. Yes, alright, and then we got 7, and then we
There's
got
another book
19.
in here. I don't know.
Alright, my victims.
Oh shit.
I found a
Hey,
book
that's
that
us.
says my victims.
Let's put it
Oh,
on.
and I can open it.
Let's have a look.
But it's, it got a bit wonky. Let me try again. Here we go. My kill list. I name my victims after colors. Helps me remember. I've always been bad at remembering names.
That's fair, I get
Same, bestie.
Yeah, same.
Blue was first. He hit my car. My second, red. I watched him litter in my lawn. My most recent was yellow. He looked at me funny. As for the one sitting in my basement, I think I'll call him green. He seems like a smart fella though. But I doubt he will make it out of the basement like blue and yellow did. They fought well, but my puzzles still fooled them. Oh. So did he seem like a smart fellow or a fart smeller?
I hate.
I think he can be both. I believe in him.
I hate
Oh hey, I just noticed there's a camera up there.
What do you hate?
that sentence.
Oh, a lamp! I picked the lamp. Oh, what?
Yeah, there's a camera.
We're being watched.
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
And it got no.
Bobbity baboo dabby.
Stop.
So true.
I found a lamp.
Awesome.
I can't interact with it other than like
Is
spin
this
it.
a key?
But
Are
it
you
is
sure?
a
Can I
key
try?
item.
Can I try?
Yeah, let me throw it at you.
Okay, but so we blue first,
sure can.
red second, yellow last.
Okay, yeah.
So that's skulls.
Are the
have a
numbers
skull.
near the skulls? Oh, the planks. There's a different amount of planks. So we've got 1 for red, 3 for blue.
And 4 for yellow.
3,
Yeah.
3, 1,
so
4.
3, 1, 4. All right, let me try. 3, 1, 4. Nope, that ain't it, Chief.
It's this one.
I heard a click. What? Oh, that
It
one.
was
Aye.
this one. There was
Nice.
another one.
What do you have?
Glass door key.
A glass
Glass door,
door
so
key.
that's up
All right,
here.
I wonder
well,
if it opens a glass door.
I
Train
acquire
toy.
book. Celestial
What book?
Dynamics.
ooh, let's see. Can you open
Copy
it?
number 843.
Alright.
So
open
then
it?
over here we have to do that.
Oh yeah, nice.
So look out, there's a camera pointed at your face right now. It's tracking your movement and expressions.
I'm
No!
just looking up at you.
Don't worry, I'm blocking it. It can't see me anymore.
There we go.
You did it. What's in?
Bathroom key.
Bathroom
Oh,
key.
finally, we can take a shit.
Yeah, I've
Well, that
been
wasn't the bathroom, clearly.
looking for a place to poop.
It's not a bathroom either. I
Good
guess.
sentence.
Is it the keep out? Is it the
Where's
keep out door?
Huh, no, it's...
I think that's where we started. Like, that's where we came out of.
Is it this then?
I tried that, but it's not aligning at all.
It's not the one up here, is it?
Don't drop it. Just making sure.
It's not the latch in the ceiling here?
Oh, that would be very odd place, but
It
is
would.
it definitely not this one?
How do you... How do you... Okay, it wasn't aligning at all. Okay, now it's aligning.
All right.
Weird.
Oh, just wait. It's plastic.
Blubbed.
Ooh, blubbed.
Blubbed. Ow.
Also, brush. I'm gonna brush it off. Oh shit! I lost the brush.
Stolen.
It's not a key item. It's okay. Stolen.
Stolen.
Okay, so what's the point of this?
Toilets.
Oh.
Oh.
Love it
Okay,
squeaky.
okay, Zoe.
Yeah?
Do you need a hint? Because I found someone who can give us a hint.
Oh, who?
Just ask. Just ask me any
Man.
question.
I wish we knew how to get out of here.
Well, let me help.
Terrible.
All you need.
Yeah.
Nom nom nom. I love burger. Nom 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 nom. Oh no, a knife. Oh, ah.
No. Toilet
Who's that
kun. No.
Anyways, was there anything good in here?
Did we get
There's a
anything out of
trash
here?
can. Oh god.
Oh, by the way,
Yeah,
I just
I
learned a
know.
mechanic. You can pin files to the top left corner of your screen.
How?
Actually, by hitting the pin button on the top next to the name of the
Oh
thing.
yeah, if you have a file, yeah.
How do you hit the pin button?
There's a pin button. You can,
Only
if it's a
only certain
file-
items have them.
Here, try it.
Oh, I found it. I found it. Yeah, book order. Yeah,
That would have
yeah.
been really useful if we knew that
Pin
earlier.
mode.
Yeah, but
Damn,
what
that's
did we
wild.
find in here?
I just have it on
Actually
my
nothing.
screen the whole time. That's gonna be in the middle of my screen. Sure.
No, if you scroll into it, it should be get it off there again. I think.
No, I'm just leaving
But
it.
did we
Alright.
find anything
No.
in the toilet, the bathroom?
No. Wait, I have a rag. The blood.
Oh, the blood. Yeah.
8273.
8273.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't want to do that.
You do that.
Of course, we should just flush yourself down the toilet.
Are you doing it?
They're making it so much easier.
It's incredible how much your character looks like you.
Hey, key painting. There it is in the
Key painting!
Yes!
I'm gonna put it up there. Key painting.
That's
That was a
loud.
very loud thing. Notice,
Yeah.
do not enter. Okay, so we're not entering that place.
So we're definitely entering that one.
No, it is do not.
There's
Let me
some
turn on the
more
lights.
chess figures here.
Nosferatu.
Phosphornatu. Here's another
What was
puzzle
that
game. I don't know if we actually have to play it though.
Puzzle.
Puzzle.
Oh wait, look for
A 3-number
chess
code.
pieces that are key.
The clock.
Oh, I found a lid. That isn't key, but maybe there's something in the box now.
Remember, chat.
Rubik's Cube. Wow.
Rubik's Cube. Wow.
Chat is
This
saying
is
like,
a
of
child.
course, painting goes in freezer, and like, of course, painting goes in freezer
Yeah.
because that is how
otherwise
you
it get
preserve its
hot.
beauty.
Yeah.
I found. Live. Catch.
What? Oh,
You didn't catch.
I caught it.
Is it a key
No.
item?
I caught it after it fell to the ground. It is a key
That's-
item, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why I threw it.
This is some
Yeah.
nice fucking art, dude. These colors.
Why is this candle endlessly smoking?
It's a fucking weed candle.
Look at
Yeah,
this.
it's a vape. Like that is not just like smoke. That is clearly a vape. It's a malfunctioning vape.
Alright, so.
That's it. I'm climbing into the fireplace. Oh,
Have fun.
Board game instructions.
That's too big.
Oh.
We have to go through the little
Oh my
door
god,
again.
I got a great idea. Look.
Yay!
I solved the puzzle.
You
of
did it.
where's
Time to have a
my
nice meal.
dinner.
Yay!
Liv, you should
Yeah?
do this puzzle. You have the chess pieces.
Oh hell yeah! Where's the puzzle?
Here.
Oh cool. Let's see.
Board game instructions.
Oh, hey! I wanted to
sorry.
grab those.
Excuse me.
All right, let me pin those. Oh wow! When I pin it, it disappears half. Like I can't see it properly. King of the Hill board game. So, pawn can't
Zealous.
swim.
Solid.
Knight. Wait, Black Knight. I don't have a Black Knight.
I love that you can run while crouched. Great.
So,
Oh my god, you can.
pawn can't swim.
It's really funny. You just.
I'm missing one. I'm missing one chess piece.
I'm
Meow.
Meow.
Meow. Can you
so-
crouch run for me real quick? Come on.
I am. What?
Crouch run.
If. Oh, crouch. Meow.
Meow. Meow.
You two having fun there?
Yes.
Good.
Me when I'm a cat. Meow.
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 I miss
This is dumb.
Ah.
Okay, so what did you need? A Black Knight.
I think a Black Knight, yeah. Like Batman.
Sure.
No, he's
Why,
a
he's
Dark
the Dark
Knight.
Knight.
Yeah,
it's
that-
different.
Yes. That's why.
Yeah, black is a dark color.
I guess.
You're not incorrect, but
Yeah, of course I'm not. When have I ever? Name one time.
That one time when you were wrong.
no. Yeah.
Nope, that doesn't check out.
But you were wrong that time. Elephant. Yay!
Super TV.
What?
You don't have to keep pinging the candles, Zoe. We get it, you vape.
Where the
I don't
heck
know. I
is the
just thought
Black
you'd like to
Knight?
know.
I don't.
I've never
maybe,
vaped. I don't do drugs.
I've got a White Knight.
Maybe dip it in ink.
I think it might be. Then.
I've just never felt the need to take any
Oh,
drugs.
it might be. It might
What
be a
if you-
king we need or a queen. Oh, we
What if
need
you
a
put
queen.
what if you put the
queen.
white knight in the oven and we turn it on?
No. The color is not important apparently. We need a queen.
Oh.
Okay. Also, real quick, Luke.
Yes.
Look at me. Look at me.
Where are you?
I'm behind you.
Hello.
White Knight. White Knight. White Knight. Alcohol.
Are you two having fun over there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So rook.
Look for a queen.
I'm looking. I'm right
Other
here,
than
but
you.
baby, I'm right here.
Other than you.
Oh,
You're too tall.
Too tall.
fine.
I mean, yeah.
We need a short.
Though you are a white queen.
I am.
No, you're a pink queen currently.
That's true. Put
What's
Zoe
with
on
all
the
the
shelf.
fucking, like, bishops?
Put me on the
Where's that
shelf.
last
I'll be
piece?
too high
Oh
up
my
and it'll be
God.
scary. I have a fear of
This
heights.
is... I'm gonna say it. This is a bad escape room.
This one
It's-
sucks.
It's not as good.
It's not good.
You don't give us this many items that are completely unnecessary.
That is exactly
Yes.
it, yeah.
That is a big issue.
Like genuinely. Like it's big. You God,
Also, stuff
what
is
the
too
hell?
spread out. You should start
That's
as like
it.
the first one did a better job of like starting us out in like a small area and then
then it
branching
slowly
out, and
opens
then
up.
like every
Yeah.
new area was more or less self-contained with like a little bit of backtracking.
Also, the
Wouldn't it
items were
have been
bigger.
like... Yeah, that too.
That too.
That helped. That sure helps. Where the hell is this fucking?
I don't know,
Queen.
man.
Use your queen sense. You have that, right?
Ooh, yeah, but it only allows me to sense the nearest queen, which is always me. So it's kind of
Dang it.
useless. Yeah.
Ah, that is unfortunate how that works.
Yeah, like it's kind of like the most useless superpower you could have. Knowing where you are,
I've
it's
got-
like, yeah, I already know
My
that.
noodle sense is pretty good. I just spotted some noodles there, like, on the table here. Yum, yum, yum.
That's a far more useful ability.
Yeah. Well, let me put it
I
back.
live in one of the lowest countries in the world because I'm afraid of heights.
After
I'm
the
so afraid of
Rubik's
heights
Cube
that
in the fire.
I live below the ocean.
Oh my god, just like that crab from like that movie.
Shiny.
Oh, that one.
Under the sea.
Okay, or that one.
Shiny.
What are you talking about?
Under the
Moana.
shiny.
Moana. Oh, shiny.
Moana.
Shiny to see.
Shiny.
Shiny to see.
Shiny is me.
Baby, it's
Yes,
better
I am
when
better.
you.
Down here it's wetter.
Shiny.
When you are shiny.
Shine.
Shine, shine, shiny.
Oh,
Hey,
I'm so
Chad, are
fucking
you
shiny.
enjoying this amazing, great search for
Is
a
this
single
good
chess
film?
piece
I'm gonna go to the
inside
video.
an
I'm gonna look at the
entire
video again.
house? Yeah.
I sure enjoy what equates to a pixel hunt in the old
Yeah.
from the old point and click games right now. That's what we're
I
doing.
sure enjoy knowing exactly how to solve this puzzle, but not having a single teeny tiny item.
Yep.
They trying to solve the puzzle, me eating the puzzle pieces. They don't know.
Blah 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 blah.
Well, maybe
blah,
okay,
blah.
okay. Maybe we're
Bathroom.
being
Hold on.
unfair. Maybe there's like maybe
Liv.
it's hidden inside of one of these lockboxes. What?
You did throw items on top of this thing here.
I did, yeah, but none of those were key items. I would never throw a chess piece. How do you even dare make that assumption?
It's not an assumption. It's a question.
It's what's the question?
Lip, did you fuck up?
Okay, hold
No, I
on.
didn't. I would
Yeah,
never.
okay, the
Ah, good to
lockbox.
know.
Okay, I'm coming.
What?
Is it in the lockbox?
I think so. Okay, the
Okay, so
first
we
thing
need
I
a
looked at
code.
when I came into this room was this painting of the clock that says the clock. And the clock has a certain time on it. The time is 2:45.
All right.
I've been ignoring most of the paintings because they're all just these fucking
Yeah.
stop image paintings. So I'm just like, great. I
But
don't
make
have to ever
made
look at them.
spooky.
There we go.
Is it a queen?
Yes, it is.
All right, put
Here
her
we
on the
go.
lowest rock. Thank you.
What did that
What
do?
opens? I heard a clicky clack.
I did hear
can't-
One
something.
of the doors. Oh, the notice. Yeah, this one.
Ah, okay. I
Breaker
can't get the
panel, do not
power in this room
touch.
to work. That's
Well, there's a
inconvenient considering.
breaker. Yeah.
I can't get the power in this room to work, and it is the room with the computer in it
Well,
and the servers.
Let me
Is this
just
like a
do a
crypto farm?
little-
God. Gross.
that is easy.
Oh, we're seriously
Oh,
doing
God.
like a pipe puzzle.
Yeah.
That's
Let's
fun.
not do this at the same time, maybe.
I'm doing it.
Can I do it?
Okay.
I'd like to do it.
I am. We are doing.
Can I do it? How's this?
Isn't this lovely?
How the fuck are you supposed to do this part?
Okay, you two have fun with that. I'm just gonna check out this room. There's a floppy disk, not important. A bookshelf door manual.
How are you supposed to do this?
Oh, I found the
Oh,
red
might
key
be-
cards.
Oh, nice. Hey, we need
Yeah.
that.
We might be.
It was
Yes.
underneath the manual. It was the bookshelf door manual.
Naturally.
Here we go.
Whoa!
Holy fuck!
It's loud.
Oh, a
What's in
scary
here?
clown painting.
I
Uh-oh.
got it.
Cup.
That is a little bit
My
uncomfortable.
mouth is in my tongue.
What's
My-
in the book?
Potions
Shall
and
we?
Potions and filters.
Filters. Can you
It
open
is.
it?
It is a key item. I cannot seem to open it. I will take
Alright.
it. I mean, I will take it. There we go.
I see Luke's arm through the wall. That's fun.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god! Okay, hey, you want to see a magic
What?
trick? Stay here. Look over here. Want to see a magic trick?
Whoa! Whoa!
What? But I
Amazing!
can't go in through this way. Oh!
Woo!
I can't do it. How do you do that?
Hey, you can do
It's
it.
pretty easy.
No, I can't. Oh, there it is. I
Oh
just
my
had to
god!
run
This
harder.
also has no hitbox from this side a little bit.
It's
really
just.
interesting.
Oh my god! It's really just
Isn't-
only the.
This
This
could
is
use a
weird.
remake.
Isn't video games fun?
Anyway, so do we now know how to do things?
Yes.
Well, we have a book.
Do we have
Ow.
a pipe? Do we have log numbers? Skull picture is a key item. Let me have a look at it. It's a skull. Glad I have. I'm glad. Eject button. I'm clicking it.
Yeah, if we can face through the walls, why don't we just leave?
You're right. Oh my
Goodbye,
god.
everyone, we're done.
So this works on more walls than I thought. You want to
What?
see me do it again? I found it. This one I managed to.
Yeah,
glitch-
I did it.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh
Here we go.
my god.
This guy. Why are these hitboxes?
How do you all do that? I just can't.
I just clipped into the bathroom
Oh no.
from like another room. Oh
if
my
I
god.
get close enough to the
Wait.
wall, I can turn the light
Look
switch
at this!
on.
Oh my
and
god.
get-
Look, look, look.
Oh my god.
Why can I not?
yeah, this
twist
really deserves a
middle
remake.
piece?
This needs a fucking remake. Start.
This puzzle, this pipe puzzle,
No,
is
it's
frustrating me because I can't move certain pieces. Wait, oh, you can hold and twist them. Oh.
I'm hoping to find a glitch that lets me skip a whole section.
No.
Don't do that. We're
That
not
would
that
be
far.
a
We
bit
can just
too-
use the walkthrough if we need it.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be funny?
No.
Yes.
That'd be a little funny.
It would be funny.
See, I knew Zoe would agree.
Well,
Oh, I got a
I
screwdriver.
don't.
but
Is
it's
it
not
a key item?
Yes, yes, it is. Something is blocking the vent. I need to get in there and see what it is.
It was a key item. It didn't say it was for me.
Well, it does for me. Where's a vent?
up.
Do we have a vent somewhere?
Why is this PC so crusty?
Here maybe this thing.
Is that a vent? Yeah, that is a vent.
Yes, it is.
Look at you go!
I am so good with technology. Oh,
Yeah, electrical pipe.
there we go. Now, why was that in there?
Knew,
Now I can lay pipes. Here we go.
I can't
Boom.
get the electricity in this room to work. I wonder why.
Whoa. Welcome, user 1975. Locating Windows system
Ooh.
error ex unknown. Please enter USB drive to load operating system.
USB drive.
Okay,
Did
we'll try
anyone find the USB
1975.
drive?
No, I have a skull picture.
Okay,
It's a key
I'm
item.
going to.
Have you
Awesome.
tried
I'm
the
going to try
skull
1975.
You know what?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, of course.
It worked.
Yeah, and that's got a USB.
Uh huh.
Husband.
Put it in there.
Did it just make a fucking boom boom boom?
Yeah, I
Yes.
did. Press 1
Oh my god.
to enter Windows or press keyboard to unlock cabinet.
Press.
Oh, stop. I got it.
What?
I have a remote. Bro, can you open? Okay, there we go. I have a remote now.
Okay.
Let's see. The click is so loud.
Wait. There's a TV. There's a TV right here.
Wait, where was I?
Oh, right
where?
here.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, it's a super TV. It says it right there.
Does it work?
Hold on, I gotta press no.
Oh, sick.
Cool.
Okay, so the book needs to be between the lamp and the painting.
Where?
Wait, wasn't it? Don't you have the lamp thingy?
I do.
It needs to be on the left here.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
The-
Key.
Okay,
An
something
attic. Okay, the
happened.
attic key.
Where did you go? Oh,
Okay.
there.
Gang, we are
Okay.
fucking doing it.
We're doing it. Yay!
Yay.
That was
We're up.
wow,
Well,
we teleported.
no,
Awesome.
we climbed real
With some more
fast.
scary
Rip
paintings.
painting, key hiding.
Okay, where is my bedroom key? I have been
They have
locked
a-
out of my
I've gotta be
bedroom
honest.
for
Cylinder
weeks.
hat.
I'm gonna be
The-
really honest.
What?
Yeah?
This part has way too many. Figure out the fucking digits for the log. I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
That's just the
Yeah.
same-
It
These are
also.
this is just the same 5 puzzles over and over.
If you compare that to the even the first one, if you even if you compare the first one to the little graveyard that we did, that one had some actual puzzles rather than look for key.
You look for a number. Yeah.
So anyway, I've been locked out of my bedroom for weeks. The only place I have not checked is here. Even in my own puzzles confuse me sometimes. Maybe I'm too paranoid.
Zebra.
Yes. Oh,
I
hey,
found a
pentagram.
book stack.
I found a pentagram.
Okay, hold on a second. This.
What?
I'm holding a zebra figure here, which is not. Yeah, but it is not a key item. But
I
look at
think
the
that
greens
might-
on the legs.
Yeah, I think that might not be a key item because it wasn't made for this one. It might just be. a
Yeah, I
message
think it
from
might
the
just be
game
from a
itself.
different one.
Spoilers. Oh my
Wait,
god.
it has numbers. Well, let's keep it in mind anyway.
Okay, what numbers does that?
I'm keeping it with me actually.
I've got a cylinder hat
I have a rip painting.
from Edgewood Attire.
Oh my
It is
god,
not
it's
a key
invisible if you
item,
turn
but
it
I
around.
will toss it at you.
I tossed
Look
that
at
at
my
you first
painting.
actually.
Look at my
What
painting.
you did? Ooh. Let's see.
You want
Hats.
to see me? You want a magic trick?
Yes.
Okay, look at painting. Now you see it? Now you know.
Whoa! Amazing! How
good,
does
right?
he do it, Chad? Anyway, put it here. Put it here. Come here with it.
Can someone turn on
Also,
the
the performance
I
is
lights?
so
never noticed
bad
that.
here as well.
It's like
Hat.
hey, a cowboy
Hat.
hat. It's a file.
Okay,
Not a key item,
it
it's
is
a file.
for briefcase 716.
Okay.
Don't you just love that? Just more codes.
This is just the most basic ass point and click stuff. You
Yeah.
find item, use on item. You found answer to item.
It's not great.
is it?
Crucifix.
Oh
great.
Jesus!
That's correct.
Yeah, indeed. Also, you should look at the planks here on the floor. You want to look? So look, our feet. This is
Yeah.
isn't this interesting?
I'm swimming.
It's fine. Listen. We don't know the limitations of the puzzle creator per se.
But
So like
I think so.
What we
I
do
think it's
know
pretty
is that I
clear
have
they
two hats now.
they can have more interesting puzzles because they had that thing with
the remake.
yeah, in the remake was better, and even in here they had like the puzzle that you had to do with the chess pieces, not collecting them so much, but
Yeah, and the TV.
like stuff
like the
with I don't know how hard it is to make sure that there is no gaps in the walls or whatever, you know. I'm not judging them on that per se.
Does the crucifix go on this pentagram?
Might be.
Let's find out. Yes.
I think.
Upside down. Ooh, demon summoning. Let's go.
Yummy.
Oh,
Oh!
Ooh, that's new. Skeleton.
Oh, he's got a key.
Oh, he's got a funny
I've
little
unlocked the
eyeballs.
bedroom.
Hey, bud.
Exit
Hi.
attic.
You got your funny little goat eyes. Wait,
Oh,
did someone
shit.
did someone pick up the key?
loud here.
No, we activated the key.
Oh, is that what you did?
Yeah, and now that guy is here. And
With
also
funny
I
eyes.
saw weird demon man walk over there.
Oh, I didn't see
Also,
it.
Oh god, blood on the floor.
Yeah, by the way, this room is open.
Okay.
Also, hold on, wait. Okay.
Sorry.
I think it was mentioned that these maps might be that some of these maps might be made before they got better options for better ways of making maps.
Ah.
So that might be why it's a little limited because it
Gang, I'm scared. There's
Eyeball.
an eyeball
wow.
painting.
The door is
shit.
closed behind us.
Oh no! Another eyeball painting.
There are many eyeballs.
There's so many
I
eyeball
didn't mean to
paintings.
kill them,
Fire
they
will
say.
reveal the gateway.
Oh,
we've got
it's
fire
a
right
it's a
here.
Satan.
Got a lit candle. What's in there?
Nothing.
None.
And the other one?
A shirt, I guess.
Well, fire will reveal the gateway. Oh, what does this say?
Does anyone have
I
a lighter?
didn't. I mean, didn't mean to kill them. Oh, the
Yeah,
candle
sure.
is already lit. Here we go.
There we go.
There's a door.
There was only one
Behind
behind you.
Help!
Oh, a door.
Help! I'm stuck.
Oh,
No! I will open the
I'll
door.
open it for you.
Ah,
Here you go.
thanks.
Oh, hey, we're outside.
That was interesting.
Did we escape?
Hours.
Oh, hey, X marks the spot.
Oh,
X.
X marks the spot.
bonk.
X marks the spot.
Oh, the door.
8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Damn, this shit just keeps going, huh?
Evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this
there
a
also
mod?
a part 3?
Yeah, there is. I don't think we're gonna be playing that anymore. Considering we've already been going for 3.5 hours.
Yeah. I don't think we.
I found a dagger, and I found a 2:15 p.m.
Nice.
Tag for one of these corpses.
Look
I
over
think
here.
we're supposed to what?
A hand sanitizer.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
I think we're
That's
supposed
nice.
to find out when these corpses died.
It's
When they-
8:30
'cause I-
a.m. Okay. I found a tag for 8:30 a.m.
Yeah, and I got one for 2:15.
This one is
Okay, I love that they get creative with
Where?
it. They just have some shoes and a skull and glasses.
Aw, cute.
That's fun. I
Okay,
like
so
it.
the building opens at 8 a.m. and it closes at 5 p.m. This one here says time of arrival 30 minutes after open, so that would be 8:30.
Okay, so I have that one. So where did these
This
go?
other one is 2:15. Oh, 2:15. That's the one I just have. That's oven 2.
So which one that would be
I want
8:30?
oven
Which one
two.
would that be?
8:30. That would be the first one.
Okay.
And just put that on the toes. Then on number.
Toesies?
Okay, patient appeared.
Yo, I got a
on
sword.
the morgue. Oh, patient appeared on the morgue at random. On the morgue table at random. That's fun.
That's weird. Okay, I got
Turn
a
on the
top hat.
lights.
Okay, I think we also have to give them items that belong to them or something, because there's a bunch of key items.
Okay.
I have a blue hat. That's a key item.
Okay, I have a
Also,
hammer,
I'm
a black
gonna
top
go
hat,
dig
and a
outside.
Oh, the sword is not a key item, but I am keeping it with me for safety. But I have a black top hat
Yeah.
and a hammer.
I'm gonna.
Okay, black top hat. That was Mr. Woods here at the first one.
I'm gonna go dig.
Oh,
And
I
then
want
the
to see.
hammer you said?
I want to see. I want to see.
You're gonna dig? Oh,
I already did it.
sorry.
Yeah.
What you got?
No one was responding to 20 times.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
What did you say? What'd you get?
A key for the evidence chest.
Oh, sick.
Okay.
Eyeball.
Oh,
Okay, not available. Okay, so that's the one that
not
appeared randomly.
applicable. Not applicable is this one, yeah.
And a
And then we
prosthetic
got an
eye.
eyeball, prosthetic eye.
Do we need a blue hat?
All right, so patient. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's the last one is the patient that had a prosthetic eye. A faint singing comes from its vicinity. All right,
Scary.
pop that in.
Oh, wait, okay, here's the hammer.
Okay, the hammer, that's blunt force trauma. Yeah, that is the middle one.
And the blue hat's also for the middle one.
Yes, that's right. Any
Alright.
other items you found? Oh, I found a dagger. Dagger was for blade to the front lobe, oven 1. That's this. Here we go.
Oh,
Ah, what's inside? A UV light.
Oh, you should use that here.
yes, of course.
Right. Here we go.
Alright, this is already more
Here we
creative
go.
than the last-
Yeah, this is
than
a lot
part
more
one.
interesting.
666.
666.
What did you say about creative?
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Here, look, this is yours.
Thanks. I'm having flashbacks to when there was like, I'm gonna go pick this lock in our D&D session, and then it's fucking Nick's character.
It was 666, wasn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
the doors. We can go out.
Okay,
Behind you.
behind you.
I was
we did that
actually
already.
so,
666. Let me do the 666 here.
it was so annoying. It's like I don't even get to do it.
Why did we just, like, why did we teleport? What's going on?
Well, we went back to the room, and here's the 666. I got a bedroom key.
Why are we,
Don't
why are
worry.
we doing
Remember,
that?
the guy had the guy
Here.
making all these things had demonic
Where?
powers.
Oh,
so
there.
that explains everything.
Right, fair enough.
Ah!
More skull, more scary painting.
More scary.
Oh.
This is getting too scary, Zoe. Can we stop?
I mean, we could, but
No,
Let's
that's
finish
not.
part 2 at least. This hallway is longer.
Oh no,
House of
Mario.
Keys. I mean, leaves.
That is cool though. This
The
hallway
colors.
is now
Okay, the
longer.
colors. It
Oh
was.
my god, you can go even further.
Whoa, they figured out how to zoom in this time. I think it was
Okay.
red, blue, yellow, right?
I think
Okay,
this
whoa,
is-
okay, no, red had
Oh
one.
my god, it's you.
What?
I saw a weird figure walking out of the shadows. But it was just Luke. What are you doing?
I'm trying to solve the
Sorry.
puzzle with the
I
skulls.
think. I don't think it was that. Was it?
Oh.
I don't think it's the same stuff.
I think it's their eyes.
Yeah. Oh,
What eyes?
You right. Oh,
Their eyes,
5,
they've got,
yellow is
like-
5. Purple is
Yellow is
9.
5. How do you know? Oh yeah, because of the toe tags.
Oh,
blue is
okay.
9.
Those are good
Where did you
eyes.
find the blue? Oh, there.
Yeah,
So-
if you had some crazy eyes, what kind of eyes would you want?
Red.
Goat.
I was thinking goat. Goat eyes would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
You do go type. Me, red.
Also,
I mean, glowing red demon eyes would also just be very good. Mechanical
I
eyes.
mean,
I'd
this-
want mechanical eyes. That's what I want.
like the horizontal slit for a pupil. That is also just what ferret eyes are like. So.
Go. Front door key opened. Can't wait for jump.
Episode finished. Not even a jump scare. Are you
Episode
serious?
finished.
Man,
Well,
I can't do
Cool.
it again. I can't episode finish. Are you serious?
Oh no! Oh no!
Damn.
Well, guess the
anyway,
episode
anyway,
isn't
time for the
finished
quiz.
anymore.
Anyway, look, turn around. I'm the killer. That.
Ow. Oh yeah. Well, I'm the killer. Look at that. Look at me. Look at me, bitch. I have a sword. I have a sword. I'm gonna kill you now. Sword. I killed you. Yay. Oh, you teleported all of us.
Hey! Oh!
Well, anyway. Oh god, what's happening? Wait,
God, you
okay.
just
I
walked
did
through
just
that?
totally like clip. Wait, hold on. Gang, look.
How did you?
What?
So it could. Stop! Stop
I'm the
teleporting.
killer. I kill killers.
Oh, I got it.
Where are you? Oh
Wait, hold on,
god!
do you think we could clip outside of this area?
Hold on. I'm trying to get through this wall until you walk through. Stop teleporting for a moment.
Is it because I'm also running when I do it?
I'm running. It's not happening.
Huh.
How do you do
Odd.
it?
I don't know, I'm just running.
God damn it.
I just had to take like a big leap.
Sucks. Oh, hey, shovel. Oh my god! Oh my god, this is terrible.
Oh my god. Okay, shall we stop?
Hold on,
Yes.
hold on, I'm trying to get in here. I'm trying to see if I can get back in. Don't
Sometimes
teleport,
I do
I'm trying
it.
to get back in.
I'm trying to get back in as well. It's teleporting me.
Sometimes I
just
get back
like
in.
if I get close. You know what? I'm closing the door. Oh, never mind. Here we go.
Nope.
You know what? I'm closing the. I'm closed. No.
I don't think we can.
Wait, where did you all go?
What?
Wait, did we leave?
Noodle?
Behind?
You left me behind.
Oh, there you go. Hi. Come here.
Hi. Bye. Oh, what? Hello. I hate this guy. I hate this guy so much.
God. Okay, can we leave?
Oh,
Can
hey,
we
unlock
leave?
bedroom. Unlock bedroom.
Yes, let's
Wait.
unlock the bedroom. Ah!
So I don't know why you're asking. You have the power to end this at any moments.
No, but no, yeah, but I don't want to spoil you guys' fun. I'm gonna spoil your fun now.
This is great. This is great. Let's do the tutorial next.
What if we finish off with a main game one?
Yeah.
I do. No, we've been going for almost 4 hours.
Oh, help! It's double.
Oh, right. We've been going for almost 4
But it
hours.
sounds like a you issue.
So wait, Liv just left.
Liv just left. I
Liv
can't
just
hear
left.
Liv. Okay. Yeah, Liv just left. Well,
Liv
guess
just
it's just
left.
you and me now.
Bye, Noodle.
Bye.
Anyway, I'm just gonna go back to the main menu and unmute in Discord. Hello.
Hello? I accidentally dropped out of the game.
Yeah, you sure did do that, huh?
You should have.
Ow.
It happens.
So, it would be fun
That
to
was
wait. Hold on a second. I keep hearing it sounds like I have like a tiny
loop.
little bit of Luke still, as if you have a hiccup, a very consistent hiccup.
huh.
you.
Weird.
Thank you for the shout out, Green Clong.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
I guess we're just gonna keep having that. So, it would be fun to have one more, but we're pretty late, and I gotta hang out with someone else after the stream. So,
Okay.
yeah. So, first off, would you two like to plug anything before we do the outro?
Well, yeah, my Twitch channel. I'm currently not really streaming, but I'm gonna anytime now. Just anytime. It's gonna happen. Trust me.
I believe in you.
So yeah, twitch.tv/infininoodle. Linky is in the chat. And also my Tumblr, where I also am. Infininoodle.tumblr.com.
Noodle.
No, just Infinite.
Fin and noodle. That's when you have fins.
No.
So,
Sure is.
look, would you like to plug anything?
Nah.
Okay.
Thanks for asking.
Of course, always. I always ask. You never know. Maybe you're like, I'm revealing my secret project. You know?
You can't make him plug.
No, I mean, I have to periodically, otherwise I just shouldn't.
Yeah. So, I thank you guys so much for joining me. Despite the quality of the map, we did have a lot of fun.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. And thank you, Chet, very much for coming. I hope you had a very good time as well. It wasn't as I wasn't as chatty with Chet as usual because we were constantly actively trying to figure out puzzles. I apologize for that. I hope it was still fun to watch. I will be back in 2 days to when I start playing Sonic Superstars together with my friend Daya, which I'm very excited about. Ideally, they'll have fixed a bunch of the issues with the game by that point. These freaking hiccups.
Hold on, I need to hear this.
Yeah.
I can't hear them.
Well, no, they're in the stream.
Ah.
Like the game just keeps having a little bit of Luke.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
They're giving kind of a
Fucking
beat, yeah.
wild.
I gotta rewatch the ending. It's, yeah. Lovely.
It's really. Well,
Anyway,
That's
great.
we are going to go ahead and raid. Let's go ahead and raid Racepark. Racepark is a buddy, a very good artist, a VTuber, very cute and fun, and is drawing right now, so it'll be nice and chill after the chaos that was us running around a haunted house. This is what it sounds like when you're poisoned and keep taking 1 damage. That is correct. Anyway, the raid message will be hick. It'll be, or maybe it'll be, hold on, can I do this? Okay, no, but I can have a bunch of pauses between them, but that's fine. Just for hicks, will be okay. So go have a lot of fun over there. Oh, and also if you like my stuff, exclamation point socials or exclamation point link in chat, and you get a link to my little website. Those are all of my things, and then you can check out my stuff, my socials, and my other things that I do and stuff. You can find it there. Okay.
Yeah.
Racepark. There we go.
I'm stream muted now, but just the idea of me constantly interrupting you with
It's very funny.
It's really funny.
Okay.
Very
All right.
good.
So thanks so much for coming, everyone. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you all in 2 days for
See
Sonic.
you later.
Bye.
Bye. Heck.